Cigars in hand, never playing tame. And pour the whiskey, let it burn real slow. On the Real Smoke Podcast, the stories flow. Guess they're rolling with a spark in their eyes, talking life's truths and throwing lies. Laughter crackles like a fire alive. Cuba to Kentucky, they always thrive. Real smoke rises in the air tonight. Whiskey's bold, they keep it tight. Stories spark like a flaming glow. Mick and Charles stealing the show.
Welcome to the Real Smoke Podcast with your hosts, Mick and Charles, the podcast that's all about real people, real cigars, and real smoke. Coming to you live from the Real Smoke Virtual Cigar Lounge, bringing you the best of cigars, whiskey, and all the good times in between. It's more than just a podcast, it's a community of cigar lovers. So grab your favorite smoke, pour a drink, and join us as we dive into all things cigars, whiskey, and just having a damn good time. This is the Real Smoke Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 56 of the Real Smoke Podcast. We are your hosts. The man over there looking like he's about to be hit by a freight train, that's Mick. I'm Charles, and we're here to have a fantastic time. We have a great show lined up for you tonight. It is mental health throughout the holidays, and we got some great guests coming on. We have the doc making her return. We have Josh Coburn. He's been on here a couple of times. You know him. And we have the daughter, the voice that you just got done hearing. Kai's going to be on here.
Heck yeah.
But before we get started, we do have to say hi to our family over at the Cigar Vault. What's up, Norm?
The Real Smoke Podcast is brought to you by the Cigar Vault Oakdale, your ultimate destination for premium cigars and unforgettable experiences. Whether you're a seasoned aficionado or just starting your cigar journey, they've got you covered. Find them on Instagram at Cigar Vault Oakdale or online at thecigarvault.com. Here's a treat for our listeners. Use promo code RealSmoke to save 10% on your next order. Let the Cigar Vault Oakdale unlock your next great cigar.
You should do that. Use that code. Go to that site. Do the thing. Great products that they have there. You know the products. You know where to go. You know the code to use. Do we need to say anything else?
Their selection is amazing. I don't know if we're supposed to talk about it right now, but first off, hi, happy Wednesday. Super odd doing it on a Wednesday, which is my fault because I scheduled my flight home from Florida tomorrow. So thank you, everyone, for jumping through hoops and letting me do this and being a part of this one tonight. I will also say, if I ever decide to do a show on vacation again, I'm paying to have my gear shipped with me because this is stupid doing it on a phone. I'm already irritated, and it's just the start of the show. But no, so Cigar Vault, we are going to do a little challenge between the two of us. You gonna talk about that one a little bit?
Well, I will say that we probably didn't hear half of what you said because you cut out a little bit, but we are going to be doing a challenge with the Cigar Vault. We do not have the images up yet. We do not, but we will have 2 5-packs from the Cigar Vault ready sometime this week. We'll have all the pictures on there. But Mick, do you have what your 5-pack is? He's trying to figure out how to work his phone. I will go first while he. Okay, there you go. So
yeah,
this is going to be a challenge. Mick has 5 5-packs. I have 5 5-packs. The goal is to see who sells the most 5-packs by Christmas. The episode that we come back in 26 is going to have Kai again, as well as Josh's wife, Sin. They are going to be hosting the show. We are just the guest. We are the guest on our own show. So the lovely winner gets to send the loser, if you know anything about whiskey, a nice double shot of Malort. And they get to take that on the podcast while we get interviewed. That's going to be fun. I love it. So this is basically how you get to show who you like the most. You don't have to worry. No, I'm just kidding. Which pack? Which ones did we choose? Which pack did we choose to make it better? So, Mick, what was your 5?
I am doing the new Lure Brownie Trout, the one that's going to be in the core line, or is in the core line. The Tatawahe Broadleaf Reserva K222, the Oz Family Caratoba, the Stolen Thrones Three Kingdoms, and the Rodriguez Primera Class Toro.
Nice.
So that is my 5-pack.
I think that's a good 5-pack.
Yeah.
See, what we did was we had free reign over anything in the cigar vault. So we wrote down 10 or 15 cigars that we wanted the most, and we kind of did it like a draft. Mick went first, and he picked something off there. The only rule was we could not pick the same thing, the exact same cigar, because both of our number one picks on there, he has the new Brownie Trout. I have the Catch and Release, the original Brownie Trout, as my number one from Lure. I have the Pestana San Andreas, the HDA Cataclysm, Crown Heads Juarez Bulldozer, and the Lost Ledger or Patina. We haven't been given an exact answer. It's either going to be the Lost Ledger from Stolen Throne or it's going to be the Patina Oro. So it's going to be one of those two.
Either way.
But images and stuff will come out. So whole deal is, which pack do you like better? Buy that one. There's only 5 of them. One of us has got to win. One of us has got to lose. So help us out.
Heck yeah. Both good 5-packs.
Yeah.
It'll be all in good fun.
Oh, yeah. And Mick, you cannot buy all of them. Just saying.
Well, Kylie may have to buy a couple. Just so.
Kylie, you may have to buy me a couple. Just saying. It's Christmas. It's my birthday.
It is your birthday.
Wait, it's already passed many moons ago.
A little bit ago.
All right, so let's talk. We're already talking about doing that one. It's getting close to Christmas. You know, husbands, wives, whoever you're listening to, go find your favorite person who loves listening to the podcast and get them one of these. Check out the merch that's on there. We have the retro 80s version of the Real Smoke podcast. We have the Waffle House version. We have the shirt that Mick is going to be sporting here in a little bit. We have the walking HR violation. We have the We to People, and the one that we've got going on for at least the next few days, we have this one. This is the Real Smoke Podcast Operation Give Back for Cigar Army. $5. $5 is what we make off of every shirt. So $5 from every shirt that is sold for this shirt only will go and be given to Cigar Army to support their Toys for Tots or the Marines.
Yeah, it's a great shirt. I think we're up to 9, 10 shirts sold. I'm gonna have to get checked back because I need to send that money to Frank. But yeah,
our goal was 20.
Yeah, I mean we're over halfway there, which is pretty impressive. And we sold a bunch of shirts over the holiday season here so far. So keep it going, guys. Did I freeze?
Yeah. No, you're good. So our goal's 20. Let's go ahead and try to get those 20 sold.
Awesome.
What you got next?
So I was gonna talk a little bit about vacation, man. It was a good time. I caught up with family. A great reset from work and life. And whoever at work decided, hey, I think we're gonna leave him alone this time and not blow up his phone 10 times a day. Thank you. I don't know who you are yet, but I'll thank you when I get back. I got to visit the Grand Cathedral for the first time, which was pretty amazing. I guess I expected to see almost all Arturo Fuente cigars in there in the humidor, but they have Cavalier, they have Tatawahe, they have Foundation. They have a really good selection of cigars, and they were all reasonably priced for the setting. I expected them to be a little higher than that because it is kind of touristy, but what a great place to have a cigar, have a drink. Really had a good time there. Spent some time on the beach, man, just reading a book, which I haven't done forever. And I know, contrary to popular belief, I can read. So that was a good time. And I know it's crazy. Yeah, just a lot of time with family, man, and catching up. And can't believe it's been 10 days down here already, but back to the cold tomorrow and back to work on Monday. So at least I got a few days at home to get caught up on stuff and get used to the gunshots again. So
nice.
Good time.
So
how about
here,
you, man?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy month. It's been a crazy year. Everything's crazy, but hey, I'm on here and it's not Thursday. It's Wednesday. So it's kind of middle of the week. So I get to kind of hang out, and I'm excited that I get to hang out with you, even though that you're in Florida, but you're always in Memphis. So this is how I get to hang out with you anyways. But I'm also, I'm excited to hang out with our guests that we've got coming on. I don't know. I mean, just I know that you needed the time away. So I even told you, it's funny that you mentioned that your boss probably told somebody not to, bug you. I even told you when you checked in on me, you said you've been quiet. And I said, it's been a rough little bit, but I also am not going to bother you. You're on vacation. So it was one of those things where, I didn't talk to you much until you messaged me. And then I unloaded a little bit and said, hey, let's do this, this, and this. And then when it got quiet, it was like, okay, I'm not going to message him again. So
Yeah,
it was
a lot of time with the family,
I'm
man. You're
glad
my
that you're
family
enjoying
too.
that time.
Yeah, definitely a good reset, man.
So guys, really quickly, one of our sponsors on here that we don't have a segment for, but we do talk about on here, go check out Cigar of the Month Club from Smoke Inn. There's the price. Use the code, get your free cutter and lighter. This month, you do have these wonderful cigars that you can look at right here. Go check out Smoke Inn Cigar of the Month Club. You'll be able to see more about it probably on our Instagram than you are going to be on here. So zoom in, check those out, see what you think. People in the chat right now, one of the things I posted in there is this is about mental health through the holidays. Go ahead and post in the chat, and we would love to hear from you. What are some of the hardest times or hardest things that you guys go through the holidays? Go, if you're willing to talk about it, post it in the comments, and I'm sure we're going to try to get to it. So one of our new segments that we started, and I really, really am enjoying this, and it's Real Smoke in the Wild. It's being able to find people who post, whether they're actually posting images of the shirt or they just happen to be wearing a shirt in a group photo. And over the last 2 weeks, it blew up a little bit. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to show. So our first one, Real Smoke in the Wild, comes from King of Kings right over here. He is one of our Cigar Army sponsors, but he's got the Cigar Army Operation Give Back shirt on, and Mick the Goose over here, or Mick's friend the Goose over here. We do have Cigar Army Frank on here. Look at that. He's even got the same shirt, just different color. Thank you, Cigar Army Frank. Let's see. Well, we got King of Kings again, but this time he got the Real Smoke Podcast Walking HR Violation. That may be one of my favorite shirts. I do love that one. Look at this one, another Real Smoke Operation Give Back, and this one is from our Kiwi brother. The first shirt to make it across the sea. I love it.
Love it.
So cool. Over here, who we got right over here? Smokey Justice. He actually bought 2 hoodies. He has the Miami Vice and he has the 80s hoodie. I'm still saying the 80s hoodie, the throwback, is probably one of my favorites. Yeah, the retro.
So cool.
And then our last one that we got on here is from King of Kings. He's out there with the entire group from Cigar Army, and he's out there sporting that Operation Give Back shirt. So huge thanks to everybody who has been buying the shirts. We've had a lot being purchased over the last few weeks. Take pictures wearing them, post it on Instagram, tag us, and we will get you on here and tell you thank you personally. So huge thanks.
Very cool.
So we have a cigar that we're smoking tonight, correct?
We do.
Well, the cigar that we are smoking tonight is brought to you by 13 Knives, and let's go ahead and let Robert talk about that.
Hey guys, this is Robert over at 13 Knives, and I want to talk about a very sensitive subject. You're in that moment. Everything's going right. You might even get lucky. So you reach down and you grab a very crappy cutter. And it just mangles that cigar. What do? You've let yourself down. You've let all your friends down. How are you going to live with that shame? What you need to do is get your hands on a badass bulldog cutter. It's made with 1095 high carbon steel that I get right here in the United States. And if you order one, I'll send it to you in this very discreet black box. And also, if you need to have something blue in that black box, here's the blue pill that actually does work. So you reach down, you grab that cigar, and you cut perfect every time. So get yourself a badass Bulldog cutter today.
Thank you, Robert. And Mick, tonight's cigar is...
Tonight's cigar is the Trace Australis. The wrapper is Sumatra. Binder is Connecticut, Honduras. Filler, Honduras, Ecuador, Paraguay. Price, right there on your screen, $15.46. Made at the FCTSA FTC company, same place as Cavalier cigars are made. And yeah, this one was
I did not type this in there for you not to read the factory's name.
Fabrica Centro Americana de Tobacco SA. How about that?
Good job. You can read.
It's so small.
By the way, he did leave off that this is the TriStar Herf Crew cigar that is available in the state of Tennessee. But we do have information on where that cigar is available at. So far, there's 3 lounges in Middle Tennessee that does have this cigar, and we can go over that a little bit later. But that is the cigar that we are smoking tonight. So you ready to bring on our guest? I know they're ready. We're ready. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready.
I'm ready.
All righty. So our guests tonight are brought to you by Destination.
Step into the world of cigars like never before at Destination Cigar Lounge, home of the exclusive Allegory cigar brand. Whether you're kicking back at Governor's Crossing in Sevierville, Tennessee, or soaking up the rich aroma at Almost Havana in Hurricane, West Virginia, every visit is an adventure. From top-tiered cigars to expert recommendations and a laid-back atmosphere, it's the perfect place to relax, connect, and enjoy the craft. If you are looking for bold and unforgettable flavors, escape to the world of Allegory cigars. Kick back with the rich Mexican San Andres Dividend. Enjoy the smooth intrigue of the censored Sumatra, or fire up the bold and flavorful Escape Habano. For more information, you can follow them on Instagram at destination_cigars, or you can explore more by visiting them online at destinationcigarlounge.com, or take a journey to one of their 3 locations in West Virginia and Tennessee. No matter where your cigar journey takes you, every blend is an experience worth savoring. Where the road ends, the perfect smoke begins at Destination Cigar Lounge.
All right, guys, we are about to bring to the stage our 3 guests, and I'm going to bring them on one at a time just to be able to say hi to them. And then we are going to let them introduce themselves and who they are. So the first one coming to the stage is the person who we started Mental Health, our show with, is none other than the doc herself. What's up, Doc?
How's it going? Hi, everybody.
Hi, buddy.
Nice
How
to
are
be
you?
back. I'm good. Glad to be back on here.
I'm glad to have you. It's I think honestly that my technical difficulties follow you for some reason. So I don't know what it is, but I am glad to see you, even though you're this big on my screen right now. I'll rewatch it later.
Yes, you had technical difficulties the last time I was on, so glad to see that nothing's changed.
I'm shipping my stuff next time. Never doing this again.
We'll just do some deep breathing, right? That's all we got to do. Just some deep breathing.
Maybe we actually try to plan that to be our off week. Maybe could be.
That would make sense. Yeah.
What is prior planning prevents poor performance? Just saying.
Something to that effect, yes.
That's what she said.
Something like that, yes.
Anyways, our next person that we're bringing on here is, I will say he's the motivation guru. He is my motivation guru. He's the person that I've looked up towards for years on his words of wisdom, and he took a hiatus, but I am so glad he's back. I hope he turns on his mic so we can hear his lovely voice. But let's welcome to the stage, Josh Coburn. He's looking for it. Will he find it? There it is.
It just took me a minute. I'm here. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
It's good to have you on here. It was like we told you in the green room when we talked about who we wanted on this one. We knew the doc, and then it was just like that. It's like we have to beg Josh to get on here.
Yeah, honored. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely.
So, Mick, do you want to do you just want to say who this person is, or do you want me to? I mean,
I can do it. So we're gonna bring my eldest. You guys know her by Kai, my oldest daughter, Kylie. We're we're excited to have her on because she was part of every one of the think tank group chats that we did for the first men's mental health episode, and now again this time. And she plays a part, and she's an inspiration to me. I know she's had her struggles over the years too, but I think she's happy. It's good to see her happy, and I want her to be a part of this because she's always been a part of my happiness and my mental health. So good and bad. But we're happy to have you, kids.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you have to admit, Kai has been a part of every one of our episodes. Okay. Welcome to Mick's World. But yeah, Kai has been a part of every one of our episodes because if you listen to the voice that leads us in, it is her voice that does that. So she's been a huge part of the Real Smoke podcast. So I'm going to go over to this screen right here. Hi, Kai. We are going to go over to the Doc first. Doc, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do? Are you just some person we brought on here to make everybody smile? I don't know. Who are you?
I sure hope so. So yeah, I am Christine. I am a licensed clinical psychologist. I was a former coworker of Mick's. How long have I known you now? Has it been like 4 or 5 years? I can't remember.
So I've been in Memphis for almost 3 years. So I would say at least 3 years before that. So probably six and a half years, something like that.
Yeah. So I primarily work with people who are incarcerated. Certainly, this time of year is not a great time of year for those guys. But, we do the best we can. We try to help them as much as we can. Yeah, it's a little bit about my background.
Awesome. So next we have Josh. Josh, introduce yourself. I'm sure there are some people, maybe one or two, that don't know who you are, but let everybody know who you are.
Yeah, sweet. So I'm Joshua Coburn, author, motivational speaker, and I guess co-owner of Dissident Cigars, which is what brought us here previously. So most of you probably know that side of my life much less than the other side of my life, which I don't really promote as much, but these days anyway. But it's still present on social media as these gentlemen have mentioned prior. So it's an honor to be here. Thanks, guys.
Honored to have you on here. And last but certainly not least, Miss Kai. I'll let you, your dad gave you an introduction that you can't beat, but I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Kylie, also known as Kai, and Mick's daughter. I don't really have credentials like everybody else here for this kind of thing, but I've definitely been through a lot pertaining to mental health and my physical health over the last decade. And so definitely growing a lot in my own ways and learning a lot over the years. I think mental health is something super important that a lot of people don't really touch on. It's pretty taboo. So I'm happy to be here and excited to have this conversation.
Well, you can definitely add into your credentials. You're the voice of the Real Smoke podcast. So there you go.
Perfect.
That might $2 and that will get you coffee. So
that's all I need to be here, right? Yeah.
So guys, kind of the idea that we had, Mick, we started off with doing a kind of a replay of just another men's mental health. We wanted to do it the same as before. Am I right?
Yeah. So I'm going to say this before we get into it. So the first episode with Bryce from Silent Hero and Doc, Christine, it's our third most watched episode across all platforms. And we said when we did that episode, if we touched one life or saved one life or whatever, or just had somebody rethink how they're looking at things in life, we did our job. One person, we're good. That's all we set out to do in that first episode. And I'm not going to throw any names out there or anything, but we had 4 or 5 guys private message me and Charles and us on the pod page saying, man, that show, I've listened to it so many times and I've reevaluated, where I am in life and what, how I was dealing with my pressures and my struggles and the things in life. And, man, I think we touched more than 1 or 2, which is amazing to me. And it's just we're a cigar podcast that likes having fun and likes to joke around and bullshit, but it shows that, we can talk about something like this and have the right people on it and open a line of conversation. That's really what we're here to do at all times, to give everybody that little bit of comic relief, maybe during the week or stress relief, and that's kind of what we've always set out to do. And I'm just really proud of what we did on that first episode, and I'm excited to see where this one goes as well, and just be a part of something that will be on YouTube hopefully forever, unless they start taking us down for smoking cigars and cursing too much, which is probably my fault if that happens. But either way, that was my whole piece. I wanted to say thanks for that first round, Doc, and for being a part of round 2, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
Well, I will say that we've talked about that because you've sent me screenshots, and I've talked to you about posts that I've had or comments that I've had of people saying, about that episode. But we've also had people reach out, after watching just regular episodes of us and said, just the way you guys act, the way you guys are, I needed something to pick me up. I was struggling this day or whatever. And just something that you said. And you and I both have said, we said, message us anytime. We'll talk to you about anything that you need. But go back, watch this episode. It's not about watching the episode. Go back and watch this episode of mental health. If you've got questions, listen to that one and then come back to us and let's talk about it, And it's been one of those things where people have reached out and said that episode did a lot for them. And it's something I never thought would have happened. But as soon as within a few weeks of that happening, I think we actually started saying we were going to do it again on that episode. And the whole goal was to do it again, make it that month, every month, because there's the men's mental health month. We were going to do it that month. And I know what happened, but last Christmas, my mom passed on Christmas Day. And it was one of those things where it was, there are many people going through, whether it's financial or whether it's the loss of somebody or whatever, that, it's bad in its time. But when you start going through the holidays, it's even worse. So it was one of those things where I said, hey, what if we did a men's mental health through the holidays? And Mick was like, yeah, I got that. Let's do this. And then it became to where it was like over the last couple of weeks, it's been referred to as just mental health. So kind of what I want to go into as we talk about this is, let's talk about mental health through the holidays, because, it's not only men that struggle, but if you go through statistics, it hits men a lot different than it does women. But I do want to talk about both sides of it because we do have, the ladies on here tonight, so they can give their thoughts on it as well. But I do want to definitely dive deep into the men aspect of, men's mental health through the holidays. So this is something that, I've been looking forward to. And I told you guys last time that I will probably be silent because my mom just passed. I think it was my mom just passed right when we started talking about the last winter. It wasn't too far after. Well, this year, my dad passed a week and a half ago. So it's going into the holiday. So I'm really feeling that now. So it's one of those things where this could not come at a better time. So I'm going to let Mick go ahead and jump in here, but I don't know where we're going with this. It's not planned. But the whole idea is, let's just talk about mental health through the holidays. We did ask the people in the chat, what are some of the things that you guys struggle with through the holidays? And as they come up, I'll post them up there and we can comment on them along the way.
Yeah. So, I don't exactly know where to start either. I have a few little notes written down of things, that I kind of wanted to discuss. And I did some of the same stuff that we discussed the first time around, but it's a little bit different, coming at it this time of year for so many people. Like Charles said, there could be financial struggles or just anything that takes you back to losing someone you were close with, the holidays, the family gathering, stuff like that. So, Doc, I know it's a little different in your line of work, but I'm sure you have a few insights on where to start. I know, like we talked about before with men, it's more, to me, it was always upbringing and you man up, you don't show your emotions and you carry that with you, and you just move on. Is that something that, you feel is still fairly true, or do you think that that stigma's kind of changing a little bit?
I mean, in my line of work and also just in my general life, I would say I don't think that stigma is really changing as much as I would want it to. You know, we like to talk about mental health and mental wellness as a society, but I do think that men's mental health in particular does get overlooked. And when you look at a lot of, you know, I don't want to turn this show into a socio-political sort of conversation, but there's a lot of stuff happening in this country, in our world, that you could potentially tie back to men not taking their mental health or doing anything about their mental health seriously. And this is definitely the time of year that a lot of people struggle. And what can we do about it? If we can provide a sense of community to people during this time of year, as well as the rest of the year even, then perhaps we can start or continue really to have that conversation surrounding how can we help people, you know, get better or be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, and I don't know how, if you want this to be like free platform or what, but I'll jump
Absolutely. Jump in, Josh.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think your point's valid, and as a dude that, you know, I would say I struggled with mental health. I think I still focus on it every day because it's not and I don't care who you are, I think that's the case, right? Mental health isn't, and happiness isn't a thing. It's not a destination. It's what we do every day. We focus on that. We focus on being, existing, enjoying, joy, all the things, and we have to work for those things. But what I think is interesting about men is how much the expectation is different, and it's kind of a silent expectation. And gentlemen out there in comments, please back me up or tear me down here if I'm off base. But it always seems like, you know, at least for me, and I'll speak strictly for myself, you know, the job is to show up, to take care of things, to provide, to carry the world, however big. And sometimes it's smaller, sometimes it's larger, but it doesn't matter how we feel about it. It doesn't matter, you know, what we're thinking. We still got to show up because as providers, it's pretty ingrained in us. And that's kind of this, again, mostly unspoken expectation. And I think when it comes to like mental health, the speaking of it, it's like, when do you do that? We don't. We go to the garage and smoke a cigar and wrench on something and have a couple bush lights and call it a night, right? Repeat. So, and that's certainly not helping mental health. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes this conversation so exciting and so interesting, because I think a lot of us in the cigar community know, if you sit down in a cigar lounge or with your homies and have a cigar, sometimes you just naturally work a little, not a lot of it, not maybe super deep pieces of it, but some of it out in those moments. And I think that's important. But, you know, there's always those deep, dark corners that I, in my mid-40s, get the privilege of exploring now. And let me tell you, digging out those demons and trying to open those doors that you don't even know are there or that are hiding in deep, you know, dark corners, it's interesting, it's hard, it's confusing. I think I even posted about that today. Like, it's not easy. Maybe it was yesterday. It's not easy to do that because, I mean, you're a dude. How many years have you been pushing that down?
Well, I will say that, you know, it's one of the things that they talk about all the time. And, you know, Mick always talks about that he does a lot of research. And, you know, I always say I don't do research. I've got 5 pages for the last week of mental health according, you know, to men that I've been looking over. And it doesn't matter what source you get it from. The number one reason that men struggle with mental health as long as they do or as deep as they do is because, especially men our age, is that we're taught not to talk about it, to suck it in and to move on. And we have it in our heads that we can't do that. And you know, the statistics of men dying from, you know, one of the words that will get us kicked off here is the unaliving of themselves due to, you know, depression and mental health. The statistics of men over women are astronomical, and it's insane. And, you know, a lot of the studies say it's because they're not willing to let it out, not willing to talk. And that's so crazy.
I also think with the like not like wanting to talk about it, I feel like there's also this like sometimes when men go to talk about these things, like they get shut down or they get kind of that pushback where they're like just expected, like you guys have said, to kind of keep it down. So it's like kind of like this cycle where when they do try to open up about it, because I have this experience with my best friend, my guy best friend, he very vocal about, you know, being emotional or about his definitely mental health demons. And when he has been vocal about it, definitely got a lot of pushback from family and friends. And it's like, why do you think these things? Just go to therapy, just take medication. So I definitely think there being that stigma around it, there's help out there, but like not having that support system can definitely be tough as well, if that makes
So
sense.
Josephus, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I feel exactly what you're talking about. Josephus says on here, hopelessness is my main addiction. I'm a realist, even though I joke around a lot. I struggle moving forward, knowing I've seen it in the end many times, many ways. Ultimately, it's hopelessness for me. I mean, that's a feeling that I will say that a lot of guys cover up, is that they suck in so much, whether it's they're feeling hopeless in their job, or they're feeling hopeless in the way that their marriage is going, or their job is going, or whatever's going. And they take that feeling and it comes out when somebody says, "How are you?" and they say, "I'm fine." It's those words, that "I'm fine." And I tell a lot of people, is the moment that you hear somebody say the words "I'm fine," that's when you need to start digging in. John says you're never alone. 100%.
Yeah, I see. I think I see it in other people because I'm the same way myself. I use humor as a crutch to cover up so many things and feelings. Like, it's one of those things that I think we've just learned to, especially in the line of work that me and Doc do. Humor, dark humor, comes more natural than anything to me in my entire life, especially when you're dealing with something. And it's just how it comes out. And I mean, I don't think it's ultimately a bad thing if you can recognize it, but it's not a good thing either, because it's not really a release of any of that you're holding on to. So
I would challenge people and especially men, to ask yourself the question, what are you afraid of when you think about opening up to somebody about whatever it is that you're going through? Because I think that there's a lot of fear about, maybe being rejected, being picked on, made fun of, whatever. But ultimately, what does that matter if the long-term goal is your improved mental health and wellness, right? So really dig deep, reflect, ask yourself that question, what is it that I'm afraid of, by reaching out and asking for help, or, reaching out and opening up about how I'm feeling, what I'm going through. What is the real reason why I'm not willing to do that? And see what answers you come up with.
So I'm going to say, I'm going to open this up to the 4 or the 5 of us on here, going to the guys first, but exactly what she said. I know that we are all in different places now, but there was a point in our lives, or we may be there now, that we are struggling with opening up. We do have a stigma in our head that, is telling us that we can't. So whether it's now or whether it was in the past, I'm going to go with the guys first. What was something, or what is something that you struggle with when you're having a hard time either opening up about what's going on with other people, or your spouse, or even your kids? Guys, what are some of the things that you are struggling with personally?
Well, I'll jump in, I guess. Really, what it comes down to for me is, as far as the struggle to open up, that comes down to a deep-rooted, probably lack of trust in my case. But to the great doctor's voice earlier, I think a lot of people don't want to look weak. Men, don't want to look weak. They don't want to feel weak. They don't want to seem powerless because, again, we carry the world. You can't carry the world if you're weak. And if you appear that, somebody's going to come cut your throat, and now you're just another, casualty along the road, and nobody wants to be that. At the same time, if you're finding the right people and in the right place, it's a lot easier. I do it publicly. I share my stuff publicly as much as I can because of that, because I want people to know, like, the real strength is in showing up and speaking about it. And I don't look at it as weak. I look at it as very strong. So I guess at the end of the day, not necessarily for me, but I think for most, it comes down to appearing weak.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think one of my biggest, I'm going to kind of start out with a strength here before a weakness. I think one of my biggest strengths, I can compartmentalize so many different things, and I can put all this over here and I can just forget about it until the next day or what have you. But also, with that being said, I've compartmentalized so much that I think it's torn down some relationships, that I've worked hard to build, because I don't want to get too involved in one thing and let it blend over into another, if that makes sense. I compartmentalize so much stuff, especially with my job and everything, that I think it's taken its toll on relationships around me. And I've been realizing that over the last couple of years, that, I don't think I am kind of the compassionate person I feel like I used to be, because I've put too many things in these little compartments, all over the place. And it's a hard thing to reverse once you start living your life that way. So I think it's something I struggle with daily, is trying to be more open and, communicate better, instead of just filing it away somewhere in my little compartment in my head and forgetting about it.
I think mine has always been the fact that in the family I grew up in, it was just something that was not talked about. I was a very late in life child for my family. So my dad was born in the 40s. All of my uncles were born in the late 30s, late 30s. My dad was one of the young ones. And growing up in that timeline, it was something that you just really didn't talk about. And I remember trying to talk to my dad, before, and I got the, hey, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Just don't worry about it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And growing up thinking, I want to tell you what's going on. And, it just getting the, hey, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. And then I learned that, oh, it just must be fine. And then I got to the point growing up into my adult years of going down the rabbit hole of, I'm the only one going through this, when the smart side of my brain says, no, there's thousands of people going through the same thing that you're going through. But even right now, over the last few weeks, it's, I'm sitting here and I have to tell myself, I'm not the only one. I'm not alone. There's people out there. And I think for me, it wasn't, I don't know if it was shunned. It just wasn't, it wasn't something that was talked about. It wasn't something that people did. So I just learned that I learned to be a trash compactor. I could put it in, press it down. The next thing come in, I press it down. I just didn't realize that sooner or later that trash compactor is going to overflow and explode, until it overflowed and explode. And that wasn't a good day. That's the mental break. And I think that's the mental break that leads people, not men, but people, down two roads. You have that explosion and that break, and you either just lay there on the floor and cry and you find help, or you don't find help and you end things. And I've been at the crossroads of both of those at one time or another. Recently was the breakdown, had to talk. I will say that, John, again, has been somebody that I've talked to. Mick has been somebody that I've talked to. Two people in my life that I've had, besides my wife, that I've been able to talk to, that keep me on the straight and narrow. But there was a time growing up that the other was really close to happening. I'm so glad that it didn't. So that's three guys' point of view. So let's go into some of the ladies. What are your thoughts? Either one of you.
Hey, Doc, if you want to go, you're more than welcome.
You can go right ahead.
Sure. So I guess what I was going to go into was a feeling like for me, why I don't always communicate kind of my mental health struggles is just that feeling of being misunderstood. A little bit of my background is I was diagnosed with a chronic illness pretty young. I had my first brain surgery at 15 and then my second one at 22. And just still dealing with a lot of health issues, which I'll likely deal with for the rest of my life. And so trying to communicate what I'm going through to people who have never been in my shoes or don't know what it's like waking up every day in pain, you know, feeling like gaslit by your doctors, just so many different things that come with being chronically ill. It's hard for people to understand that. And so I guess I don't always communicate my struggles to people because when I have in the past, it makes me feel more misunderstood. And then I kind of stuff it down. However, definitely in the last, 2 years, I found an amazing therapist who I've been able to work with. And she's just brought me a lot of put tools in my toolbox, as we say, and just different coping mechanisms and ways to communicate my needs to other people to help me feel seen and heard, I guess. So something I still battle with, every day, and I'll likely battle with for the rest of my life. That kind of struggle of the mental health and then the physical health kind of pairing together. So that's definitely where my struggles have been the toughest.
Let me jump in on that real quick too, Kai. I know I wasn't always there for you when this whole thing first started. I mean I was, but I feel like I felt there had to be answers out there for what you were going through. And I know how much you've dealt with, and you've been a warrior, and it's been amazing. And just seeing you grow as an adult into who you are after everything you've dealt with growing up, it makes me super proud. And it's something I love watching you grow. As this last year or two, I've seen you turn into somebody I didn't know if it was ever going to be possible. So just seeing you grow into that and finding your way through it. I mean, I hope we were there enough for you growing up, but it was a rough time for all of us watching you go through it. And it's not something you ever want to see your child go through. And I'm just proud of who you've become through all those struggles.
Absolutely. I appreciate that a lot. I couldn't imagine what you guys as parents have had to go through as well. So I'm just thankful to have such a good support system. Having a support system that I do have is honestly what has kept me here today. Kind of like Charles has said, there's definitely times where your brain is kind of tricking you thinking this is, things are never going to get better and putting you at a really low point. But I think having that support system and being able to kind of put yourself in your logical brain and be like, things have to get better and there's so many blessings in my life. So definitely counting my blessings.
I think it's really special to watch what just happened between a father and his daughter, right? Like, I think that you guys can be role models to people who will watch this either presently or in the future to see what a healthy conversation between family can look like. So I commend the two of you for even, having that conversation just now in front of however many people will see this, right? I think one thing that I thought of when Kai was speaking was that a lot of us will think of our mental health as something that we have to accomplish, right? Like something that there's a finish line for. And then in hearing Kai speak, it's definitely like this journey, right? It's this marathon of life, if you will, where there is no sort of end goal, right? Like obviously we will all pass away at some point, but we never get to the point where we've accomplished our mental health, right? It's always going to be something that we're working towards, constantly improving. We all are human. We all have flaws. We all make mistakes. And it's learning how to work through those things and how to pick yourself up and keep going, being in that marathon, being on that journey for yourself, that I think can be, having that mindset can be the most helpful for people.
Fact.
So-
And I'll chime back in based on Kai, your statements, because something that you didn't say but that I see is you're not a why me person. And a lot of people are that, and that has massive impacts mentally. But I always look at things like, why not me? Well, this is an opportunity for me to show my struggles, to show my triumphs, to try to inspire other people who are maybe on the same path, just not so far behind me and definitely not ahead of me. But those guys that are ahead of me, or those gals that are ahead of me, thought the same, and I'm seeing them do it, so I can do it. And I see that you're kind of going about things with that same mindset too, which is totally healthy and great to see, because so many people don't. They wallow in self-pity, and that obviously takes you down the drain rather than helps you climb the stairs, and that's what's more important.
Absolutely. If I haven't went through the stuff that I have been through and will continue to go through, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And I think people kind of just have to put things into perspective a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. I can identify, because my wife has basically a lifetime illness that we have been battling to discover the last several years, and seeing her kind of ups and downs and ultimately her triumph in getting things under control and moving forward has been inspiring. So it's great to have people like you guys out there to continue to inspire others, because it's unfortunately not over. There's no cures for some things, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
I've said it so many times that I actually talked to Sin about Kylie one time, and I think I told Kylie this, but they're on two totally different things that they're battling with, but they're so much the same person, which is another reason Charles and I decided to do the have those two interview us in January for that show, because they're so much alike, and I think they're going to play off each other so well. But it's just two strong, badass women finding their way through it. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to go into some of the comments. So we've got two of them on here that I want to highlight. What do I do now? I mean, come on, that name kind of hits into what we're talking about. But anyways, thank you guys for the conversation / podcast. This hits really hard. To the question that Doc Christine asked, the feeling that no one would understand or misunderstands me and how I feel. I think that is a lot of what a lot of guys go through, is a lot of people, in fact, go through, is that nobody will understand what I'm going through. Nobody knows what I'm going through. Nobody could ever have gone through what I've gone through. And I think that's something that we all struggle with, that nobody's going to understand what I'm going through. So why should I ever talk about it? John puts on here, he says 5 a.m. one morning in the gym is when when my bag of shit burst. Hey John, if you're willing to put anything else up there, love to hear it. Would love for it to be a testimony of what happened. Feel free to put it in the chat, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit. So going into the holidays is a hard time for everybody, just because, you know, you have so many holidays. Doesn't matter how you spend it, but you know, when it comes to families, whether you're the guy or the woman in the relationship, you have everything from Halloween, Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's. A lot of people try to want to celebrate that in the most glamorous ways ever. And when you look at it financially, that's probably a huge hit, because if you have kids, you're looking at it as you've got Halloween coming up. So you're buying costumes and you're taking them out and you're doing things. Thanksgiving, if you're going somewhere, your travel expenses. If you're having people come in, you have food expenses. Christmas coming up. Are you letting the car payment, the house payment go by? Are you letting insurance go by just so you can get the kids exactly what they want? Not what they need, but what they want. New Year's coming in. The kids got to have new clothes. They've got to have warm stuff. There's in 3 or 4 months, there's so much crap that's going on, especially as, you know, parents. It's a big time. So, you know, the thought that we had going into this is the mental health struggles for men going through that, because going into that, you know, listening to my wife talk about, you know, what she wants to do for the kids, and she's got a good job. I've got a decent job. You know, And in my head, all I'm doing is dollar signs, dollar signs, dollar signs. How can I do this? How can I spend time and get this done? How can I get the money to do this? Oh God, we just had the kids want this. We already planning for this, but holy shit, the brakes just went out on the car and the washer and dryer just, went to shit. And that's $1,000. This is $1,500. This is $5,000. What are, let's talk about the struggles going into the holidays. What are those struggles? What do you think it is that, we can go into the men's side of it. We can also go into the women's side of it. But what are the men's side of it to mental health through the holidays?
Just thinking about the family side of it. We're saddled with often going to visit our relatives, right? Our parents or our siblings or our extended family. For some of us, that's not so easy. For some of us, that's hugely difficult. Maybe it's politics. Maybe it's what they did to us when we were children, what we did to them as children or as adults, or all these other things like that. That's part of it too. That is tough. On top of the finances, on top of your own mental health, on top of these other things, that's just another thing to kind of throw up there to carry around, right? And like I personally struggle a lot with the holidays because they weren't always happy holidays. They were, from my viewpoint, they weren't fun or safe. They were unpredictable and kind of scary. And I knew they were, society says this is joy, and what I had wasn't that. So, it was always a struggle, and it still is. I mean, if you talk to my wife about my thoughts on the holidays, it's going to be the opposite generally of joy, even though that is not what I try to put out there. I probably do much too often, sadly.
So I will say that I'm exactly the same as you, because my, I guess when I was real little, holidays were pretty good. Christmas was pretty good. It was all stable. We were all in one place. And then we started moving around a lot. Dad got promoted and didn't get promoted. He pretty much got told, hey, go to this new location, work at this job. If you don't want to go there, you're fired. They did that to him multiple times. So we went to multiple states. Going through that, it became one of the things that the last few years was, my mom and dad, I guess, were having issues that I did not know about. So mom would go visit her family, dad would go visit his family, and I would get asked who I wanted to go with. I could not pick. There were multiple Christmases that I sat at home alone by myself while dad was somewhere, mom was somewhere, and I was there. And the last Christmas tree I remember putting up at the house my family did, all of our family was all lived in the same area. They were all buried at the same funeral home, and it seemed like they all died around Christmas area. So they made a Christmas bulb, and they put like our family's member's name on it and the day that they died. And I remember the last tree I put up, I was putting up Christmas bulbs that had all the people of our family that died on there. And I remember thinking, this isn't the happy Christmas tree that my friends are talking about. This is a tree of death. This is being sad. And then I remember the next day, dad going somewhere, mom going somewhere. And Christmas Day, I was sitting in a house by myself, hoping that somebody would call, and they forgot to call. I grew up hating Christmas. When I met my wife, she is Mrs. Claus to a T. 6 Christmas trees in the house, everything's decorated, Christmas music going from Halloween on. She is Mrs. Claus. She is all peppy and all this. And when she met me, I did not want to be a part of anything. I hated it. And she turned me over into for a few years, for quite a few years, for most of our marriage, I've been like, I love the holidays again. And it hasn't been till the last couple of years that it's been, she even told me recently, she's like, I understand. I'm not saying that it's your fault. I'm not saying that it's bad, but you've reverted back because you've had so many losses around this time. It's so hard. She's like, I just don't want you to lose your happiness into that. I need you to help find your way out of it. I don't care how long it takes. You just need to find your way. Don't let it take you back into that dark place. And I'm like you, Josh. It was during the holidays, my past and now my present. I don't want to think about the holidays. I'm having a hard time. And that's something I think that, it's going to take some time, but I will say for anybody who's listening, if you have somebody in your life that is willing to say, as I don't care how long it takes, as long as you're working towards it, that's what's important. And I am blessed that I have my wife who said, I don't care how long it takes, as long as you're working towards it. And I'm working towards it.
That's great. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. It's always a matter of what do we do next? Where do we go? How do we handle this? What do we do? And then the other hard part, right, is actually doing the work. You can go to therapy. You can read the books. You can do all these things, but you have to do the work. And that is where the rubber meets the road. We're tired. We're sore. We're beaten down anyway. And now I got to do this damn thing also because of X, that happened to me or that I caused. And this freaking sucks, right? That's what I was stuck in for the longest time. Now I'm like, look, I'm honored and lucky as hell to get up every day and be here and be mobile and, get around and do things. So damn it, I guess I gotta make the best of it in the best way possible. Even if it being in the trenches is no fun. So yeah, trudging forward is certainly hard, but looking for that joy and working toward that joy for the holidays is definitely part of it for me.
I will say, I had a pretty much perfect childhood growing up around the holidays. I mean, I think Kylie can vouch for that as well. We had a pretty great family holidays, and I will say the reason recently, 2.5, 3 years ago, when I moved away from everybody we know and love and moved to Tennessee and moved away from family, the holidays all of a sudden got rougher because I'm not around family and not around people. And I think again, I just do what I do. I go to work, and I even worked on Christmas the last 2 years just to kind of keep my mind off of it. And it's just something that I think recently it's taken its toll because the holidays are tough, not being able to be around family every holiday, and especially Christmas. But no, I think it's something like you said, man. It's a journey that we're all on. I feel like this is me moving around with the wife is something I felt like we had to do, and it was kind of a rebirth to our marriage and us spending time together, and it kind of started things off that way. But it is tough not being around the kids and my parents and siblings, around those holiday times of the year. So it is a little bit tough this time of year.
So there's a couple things on here. Howling with Big Al says, losing folks at this time of the year plays into how I enjoy this season or not. 100%. That's what I'm going through right now. John says, no problem sharing that part of my life. I wouldn't be here if I didn't do something. So he comes back and says, well, I guess I lost it. Where was it? Sorry. Man, okay, there it is. Stood in the gym all alone, sobbing, full anxiety attack. Finally calmed down and called my close friend, and she helped me get a therapist who saved my life. The only thing I could think of to do. So
sometimes bottom's the best place to be when you get moving forward for the first time.
I will also say
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, don't let bottom be your reason for seeking help via therapy. I always encourage people to pursue therapy if you just want to work on yourself overall, right? We don't have to hit rock bottom. We don't have to have some sort of crisis happen to us, this huge loss or whatever, be the reason why we go to therapy. Because if you can work on yourself through the course of therapy to get the tools, it might not hit so hard when something does happen to you, right? None of us are immune to bad things happening in our lives. And we might help prevent ourselves from hitting rock bottom by being proactive in that.
So John also says, it's what I had to do to be a better dad, husband. EMDR saved me. So I will say that going into being in the typical male role, you're supposed to be that head of the household. You're supposed to be that strong person. That's what we're taught. And like he said, for him to be a better dad and husband, he had to quit sucking it up. He had to go find help. And I know for me, that was a hard thing to realize. And where I would find help. But I think that's probably a huge thing in everybody, whether it's male or female, is whether it's for my family. When do I decide that I need to find help to be a better husband, to be a better wife, to be a better mother, to be a better father to my children? When do I need to find that help?
That awareness is tough. Like, that's tough. Generally, it comes in the form of bottom, maybe, or a mistake, creating a problem yourself. You overlook something, you did something you shouldn't have done. Maybe you drank too much and missed work. Maybe you're drinking too much constantly and somebody lets you know. Those are all hard conversations that hopefully some good person near you lets you know. And I know for me, my personal recognition was tough, still is. And I'm always trying to improve, but those specifics, it comes from the people around me. As much as I hate hearing it, it's just like, okay, off we go.
All right, so going into that, whether it's certain signs that we can look in and we can try to look into ourselves, or things that we need to be able to listen for other people saying to us. What are some of those signs that we either need to listen to or realize about ourselves that we think we got control, but we don't? We actually probably are losing control and we need to look for that help. What are some of those signs that you guys can think of that we either need to listen to or think about? What are some of the signs that you've realized in yourself as well?
I would start with, if you notice yourself having trouble regulating how you feel, if you notice yourself going from 0 to 100 pretty quickly, in whatever that spectrum looks like for you, whether it's, neutral to angry, or really sad to really happy, or just sort of neutral, having a hard time regulating how you feel, being reactive to situations, sort of going overboard in how you react to things happening in your life, or to someone having a hard conversation with you, that could be a place to start. Certainly withdrawing, finding yourself not wanting to spend time with other people. We are social creatures by nature. And if you notice yourself not wanting to be around a lot of people, ask yourself what the reason for that is. That could be a warning or a trigger for you to know.
Those are solid. I'll speak about my hiatus, which I've never talked about, but Charles, since you brought it up, almost everyone in my family was going through major health issues, and on top of that, my mother was dying, and during that time, it was on me, right? I was the only healthy one that could get people everywhere and get it going, and in that period of time, I ended up kind of losing myself because I'm focused on everybody else. I still had to show up for work and slay it, and then I had to do all this other stuff. And it's like what I didn't start noticing, but my wife so kindly made me aware of. I wasn't hitting the gym anymore. I was losing my mental toughness. I was losing myself in many ways. I quit showering as often as I should. How pathetic is that to think about as a 40-year-old man, right? It's because I didn't care. I just had to swim. I was just trying to keep my head above water. So I wasn't showering enough. I started to lose my personal integrity and my own values because I cared about them and work and nothing else. And I lost so many bits and pieces of myself that I had to start picking up. Going back to the gym was part of that, starting to rebuild the positive self-talk, building in the daily quotes, holding up those signs do wonders for me. And I'm glad I can make a difference in other people's lives. But through even that, I was great for years and years and years rebuilding my life. And then you hit this weird period. And to the point you guys have made earlier, it's not this perfectly linear path that's just like, this is my happiness, this is my joy, and or for that matter, this is my sadness. It kind of goes like this, and that's just the nature of life, I think.
That's so well said. So well said, man. I know Charles, I know, has been a huge fan of you doing the sign thing for years before I even knew it existed, man. And it's something that I look forward to every day now, man. And I mean, we repost all of them, hoping to get it out there to a bigger crowd.
Thank you.
Just seeing that one thing, man, every day kind of seems to make a difference. And I've realized the older I get that like one quote or one thing that a stranger in passing may say to you, may change your whole outlook on that day. And it's something that I try to be that positive change, for other people as well, because it's something that I feel it could change someone's whole outlook or whole day, or just turn that whole week around for them. And you just never know how it's going to affect somebody, man. And I appreciate what you do on that end of it, Josh.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I'm honored to do it, and I guess I'll go back to one of the first comments I saw somebody ask about my dots on my forehead being connected to like the third eye or the pineal gland or anything. I was 19 when I got these. I wasn't so well-rounded at that time to think that deeply, but they do represent your body, mind, and environment, which are the three things that really, if you have those things aligned, you got your shit straight. Your environment, who you surround yourself with, who's good in your life and healthy, your physical body and your mental state. All three of those things can keep you going. And all the visible tattoos on my face and head are about the things you were just talking about, Mick. This side says be kind. This side says PMA, which is positive mental attitude. I look at those every day. They're on my face for that reason. So that way I have those reminders also, which, they don't always work. I'm not always perfect, but damn it, there's something there to kind of keep me, moving forward with as positive a mindset as I can have.
Sometimes you almost have to like trick yourself into that mindset. Like I've kind of tried to work at rewiring my brain. If I'm having a bad day, it's just a bad day. It's not a bad life. And I had a coworker come up to me the other day and said, how are you so happy all of the time? You have the brightest smile, all this stuff. And it's like, I as much as I appreciate that, I'm not happy all the time, but I have to like acknowledge the good things in my life, and that kind of keeps me going. So definitely keeping that kind of mindset and that positive attitude and trying to rewire your brain into acknowledging the positive things definitely helps. Those positive affirmations for sure.
Yeah, right on. The people that generally are told that they seem so happy all the time have the darkest stories I've found.
Yes, sir. I agree.
So I will say that one of the things I've had to realize in the last few years is that, we talked to somebody on here a few months ago, and he's a YouTube guy. He does cigar reviews, but his name is Lee Mack. And one of the things that he always says is every morning you have to wake up and tell yourself it's going to be a great day, whether it's a truth or a lie. Your mind doesn't know the difference. You have to lie to it and say it's going to be a great day. And when I first started hearing that, I reached out to him and I didn't understand what it meant. And I wanted to know what his philosophy was. And he's 100% right. If you sometimes have to wake up, get out of bed, and remind yourself that no matter what crap you are struggling with, today's going to be a great day. You woke up. You're not dead. You know, the world may be burning down, but you can make it a great day if you try. And that's that's the difference between giving up and not giving up. Listening to something that Josh said, that, I work with kids. That's my job. Is I deal with kids. I work with kids. I teach kids. And, we're constantly talking to them about, making sure that you're doing the right thing, that you're being a good person, that you're always checking on your friends, you're always looking out for other people, that you're being a good person. The things that you say, the things that you do matter to other people. And I had the exact same thing happen to me not too long ago. I was at a store, and it's a store, it's a store that they don't tell their employees that you have to say, "Are you having a great day? Good morning," whatever. Just a random store. And I've been in that store many times, and the cashier just, grabs my stuff, brings it up, give them money, walk out, never have a conversation. But it was that cashier that for some reason that day, when I walked up, she looked at me and said, "How's your day going? I hope you're having a good day." And it was just right after a lot of stuff happened. And I looked at her, and I just had tears everywhere. And I said, "It's going to be a good day." And she just looked at me. And I know that she had that look like, "Oh crap, what'd I do?" But it was one of those things where I wasn't expecting someone to actually care or ask, but that person did. And we tell our kids, you know, it's not for you that you ask somebody how their day's going or how they're doing, or I hope you have a good day, or good morning, good night, things like that. It's the fact that you're actually taking the time to actually show some kind of care towards somebody. And a lot of people don't do that. But it could be the best thing in somebody's life. That was my best day that was the best part of my day, was somebody just asked how I was doing. So we do have another one on here. It said, the last few years of my dad's life, we didn't put up a tree. Contrast to now, we have 7. I feel that, Charles. So Gitchy ends up says, a man's mental health is overwhelming and so private for us. And it's not that we want less responsibilities. It's that we want to handle it all. That's what we're built for.
Word.
Family issues, deployments, and working an LE job through the holidays, along with not feeling like I am meeting expectations of others. That I have set on my own mind makes the holidays kind of numb for me. I get that.
Yeah, for sure.
I view therapy the same as a regular car and house maintenance. I will always do it and look for all the tools that I can have. The main sign is when a man says, "I'm okay," and all you said was, "How are you doing?" Yeah. Yeah. Damn, Josh hitting hard. So going into the holidays part of it, what are some of the biggest struggles that you think, for the guys in the room? What do you think are the top biggest struggles for you, for the guys mentally going into the holidays? Ladies, same thing. What do you think for you guys? What are the biggest things going into the holidays for you that you mentally struggle with?
I think it's probably very different for men versus women. Is that what our hypothesis is?
I would 100% agree. That's, when we talked about this being a men's mental health, I like the idea of the men's mental health, but we do have 2 females on here. We have 2 ladies on here. So let's open it up to both. Let's talk about the reason that it's different for both of us. So for you as ladies, what are some of the biggest things that are the biggest mental aspects for you for the holidays?
For me personally, we've talked a lot about loss and family members passing away tonight. My dad passed away about 4 years ago around Thanksgiving. And so this is also a very rough time of year for me. And it's the annual reminder, I would say, that he's not present anymore, and having to adjust and acclimate to a new normal of what the holidays will look like going forward. Because, prior to him dying, we did things a certain way. And then obviously now that's very different. So just constantly being reminded of that every year. And I think not me personally, but I would say maybe women in general struggle with just family, like being around maybe certain family members. There's a lot of societal pressure that you're supposed to spend time with family around the holidays. And not everybody either A, has, family members in their life, or B, has family that they want to spend time with, even though that's what society is telling us we should be doing around this time of year. So those are just some of my thoughts, I would say, as far as, what women might tend to struggle with versus what men might struggle with.
Hey Doc, I'll say your post the other day gave me chills. It was outstanding. I'm a football guy too, and I felt that when your post was amazing. So I just want to say that.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess my piece would just be something I struggle around this time of year is definitely like finances, trying to make ends meet with already struggling with bills, with my disabilities. I'm not able to work a full-time job. So that, finances can already be stressful, but then when people are trying to, prepare meals or, you're trying to get someone a gift, even though it's not essential, there's pressures there. I think that can be a lot of stress. And then also, not that this is always how it goes, but for hosting, doing a lot of like cooking and cleaning of household things, I think that can also be a lot of stress that's in addition to your job or whatever else you may have going on in your life from my point of view.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure on women to curate the, most perfect sort of way that Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of these holidays sort of should look. Men have their own things that they worry about, I think, or that, they think about during this time of year. But for women and for mothers, I think that is something that there's a lot of pressure on them to do, is to make this time of year the most meaningful that they can. And, the husbands and the fathers financially provide for that, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Very stereotypical view of it all, I would say.
So
Stereotypical
for the guys
or
on
not?
here,
Sorry.
Go ahead, Josh.
I was
about to say. So for the guys going into this one, let's go into the same thing.
Since I was blabbing over you, I just wanted to say that something that I have had to kind of learn is that and you said it all just in a different way, is women kind of bring the magic, right? I mean, yes, there's this arbitrary Santa Claus, but that's not me. That isn't it's my wife that brings that magic to the house. And I have come to realize that I was the one preventing that for years. And I have to come to terms with that and realize what I used to deal with as a child was someone was taking that magic also. And I became that because I didn't want to experience that. So what did I do? Well, I didn't experience it, but I sure doled it out. And that's a tough pill to swallow as a man. And that's still the struggle today, is trying to let the magic be what it is and let those people who do bring it just bring it and settle into that. And that's tough when you have trauma or whatever in your background to just allow, for lack of a better word, that control to be out of your hands, because you're just stuck experiencing whatever is to come. And in my past experience, it was not good. But today, I'm not around the same people. It's not the same situation, but our coping mechanisms from childhood and from our past don't apply today. So we have to get rid of those. And that's not easy for those ladies and gentlemen out there who are trying to do so. So, I feel you, and I hear you, and I feel for all the guys out there that are trying to let the magic exist by not stealing it. So I can empathize with that.
Yeah,
Josh,
good.
I was just going to ask Josh on a follow up on that one. So for you, Josh, what is it? I mean, we all look at our wives. I mean, I look at my wife. She is Mrs. Santa Claus. She is the one on the shelf on the elf that's doing all the stuff. She is the one who is doing the decorations. She's the tree lady. She's everything. So when you look at, all that Sin's doing, what is it in your eyes that you're looking at that's going, this part is my hard part. This is my stress point. But what can I do to fix it?
Right. For me, it's a matter of keeping my mouth shut about what is happening and let it happen. And someone mentioned expectations earlier. This is my everyday, right? I'm pretty even. I don't get too excited. I don't go off the rails either way. When somebody hands me a present, I'm not like, oh my God, this is the greatest gift I've ever received in my whole life. I am not that guy. I'm just like, oh, wow, I got this thing. Thank you so much. And that's it. And that hasn't always been received well either. So I would preemptively say, I hope, don't expect super crazy reactions here and I already ruined it, right? So I have to just have the awareness that I need to be present as it is and enjoy it as it is and let everyone else enjoy the moment because they don't carry what I carry. And that's tough. So that's how it is for me. I have to just have the inner awareness that, look, it hasn't always sucked for everybody, or they didn't always have in their mind that it was going to not be great. You do. This is your problem, and you have to address that one way or another. So that awareness is what I have to kind of take note of.
So, Mick, I'll let you jump in here with what you're about to ask. But once you do that one, I've got the same question for you. What is something that, your wife is doing her thing, but what is the one thing that is keeping you that you struggle with around this time that you have to realize that you either need to adapt to or fix?
I think, I really wasn't going to ask anything. I was just going to go into mine because mine is different. I mean, it's so different since we moved. The wife used to be the one that would, be Miss Christmas around the house and whatever. But since we moved, we're both kind of bah humbug, because we aren't around family. And I think one of the hardest things for me personally is we got to choose every year which family we're going to go visit because we're not going to get to see everybody. It's tough. My parents are extremely old and not in the best of health. Kylie stepped into that role for me since I moved. She's really been helping them out a lot and doing things for them. So I have guilt from that as well, that she's kind of picked up my slack since I moved. And this is far from a pat in the back, but I mean, I think Kylie would agree to it. I kind of was the glue that held our family together for doing stuff and for making sure everybody was taken care of and making sure everything was planned. And now I'm 14 hours away, and I struggle with that every year around the holidays because I feel like I can't be 5 places at once. Like this year, we came to Florida to visit her mom and family and everybody, and I obviously want to do that for the wife, but it's tough knowing I'm not going to make it home to see the kids and parents, and I don't know how much longer I have with my parents. They're not in the best of health, like I said. So I mean, it's always, the last couple of years have been different. I mean, I haven't really struggled a lot over the holidays in the past, but these last couple of years have been pretty rough because there's all these decisions, and you feel, I mean, we all know you can't keep everybody happy. You can't. And I feel like that's a choice that has to be made every year, which family we're going to choose for that year, to see. So it's definitely a different struggle, but it's something that's worth talking about.
So I'm going to reach out to you and just say this. What is something that, you talked about, your wife being Miss Santa Claus and, you guys have kind of fallen off to that. What is something that, I guess, guys, we're here to fix it. We're going to fix it. what is something that you could probably do to help fix that? I mean, you might not be able to see everybody, but maybe be able, as a guy, we can go in there and kind of start bringing that back into our family. What do you think?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I know we talked about it. We're gonna go. We're gonna do a few things this year. Obviously, the wife wanted to go see the thing at the zoo. They do the lights, and we're gonna do some things and actually get out a little bit. And we have some pretty close friends in the Memphis area now that we're gonna hang out with, hopefully, and spend a little time with over the holidays. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a rough time of year now with not being able to see everybody that we used to be able to. You know, I guess you take it for granted when you live that close your whole life, and then all of a sudden you don't, and kind of makes you think, But I think we'll make it through. We'll be all right.
I get that, because I went from, I guess, having, Jennifer's family, we live on the same property as her mom, and being able to do stuff with her family, to at least I was able to try to reach out to my parents in the past, to probably having nothing, but I will say that when it comes to the club, we're, you and I both are part of the TriStar Herf crew. And when I started our Secret Santa thing, it was because of listening in a chat one day when we were on a Herf, people talking about the same thing, not really being a part, or being able to be a part of family, or not really having people on there. So I wanted to start the whole Secret Santa thing. I wanted to kind of bring in, it was my wife's idea, Mrs. Claus. It was my wife's idea to bring in the Secret Santa thing, to try to bring, some kind of love, some kind of holiday spirit into the club. That way people felt loved and cared about. And, that's kind of what we're doing this year. And that's the reason, that's one of the big reasons that we have our weekly Herf. And out of everything that's been going on over the last few months, I will get on there and I'll let everybody know, hey, I can't be on here tonight. But at the last minute, I'm on there, because I realize, like Mick says every week, it's so hard to be able to do this with our timeline or our schedules. But it's the mental health aspect. It is something that it is my release for that week. It's something that I have shared so many things that's been going on with a group of people that's become, I don't have any family here. I mean, I don't have anybody to reach out to. I feel like, me and Mick have such a big thing that we have our immediate family here. We have our wife, we have our kids or whatever, but we don't have that extended family. And we've made that extended family through our club. And as much as it is, it's a hard thing to pull up a computer and do that. But when you're on there's that feeling of family, and it's that people that you can talk to, which is kind of leading me into that next thing. So we're all struggling with something. We're all struggling with, whether it's finances, whether it's lack of family, whether it's missing somebody, whether it's the passing of people, whether it's whatever. What can we do? What is something that you guys have found that you can do, that you have done, to help make things better? Whether it's talking to somebody or whether it's finding help. What is some of the steps that we can do? We've already realized what we need to look for. What can we do to help? We don't solve the problem, but we help, I guess, fix the problem. We help negotiate the problem.
Well,
I would say exactly what you just said, which is reaching out to your community, reaching out for connection. Nobody is solely alone. in my opinion. I might be wrong. Feel free to let me know if I am. We all have people within our circle, whether it be 1, 2, more than that. And I think it's important to lean on those people. We keep coming back to that. But I think that one of the takeaways from this evening is connection and community with one another is important, especially this time of year. And it might not be with family because that's what society has put on us, but it could be with people that we've turned into family, or who feel like family to us.
I couldn't say that
Spot
any
on.
better. I guess, yeah, I know I've said this 100 times, but since moving, TriStar has become that Tuesday night. Yeah, like Charles said, there's nights I get home after a long, shitty day, and the last thing I want to do is set up my stuff and jump on a herf or jump on, and just talk to the guys. But 20 minutes into it, you forget about your shitty day, and things are better. And it's like this, like you said, it's family that you've created. And Charles and I wouldn't be doing this right now if it wasn't for TriStar. We wouldn't be getting together on Tuesday. It's twice a week that me and Charles hanging out, and that we've become family. I mean, we really have, and we have so many similarities. It's almost scary over the last couple of years that we've figured out that why we get along so well. But it's like you said, it's the family we create along the way. And yes, ours is based around cigars and that time we spend together a few times a week. But it could be anything. I mean, honestly, the guys at the gym, the guys, whatever's a healthy release for you in that therapy session, find that and use that.
I was going to jump in and say just any sort of self-care is usually like my go-to, like whether it's coming home and taking a bath or, whatever your little self-care thing is that it's going to help boost your mental, I think is definitely worth it.
I'll piggyback on exactly that. That's kind of my thoughts. There's a couple things that guys are really good at, and Mick, you mentioned it earlier, we're great at compartmentalizing things and placing it different areas, and if we need to access that file, we will, but if we don't have to, we'll let it get as dusty and moldy as we can. But also something else we're good at is kind of taking the time for ourselves. And a friend gave this to me a couple years ago, and I've never forgotten it, is just open the nothing box. And I was like, what? Because my head's always, I got this to do, I got that to do. I'm here to crush life. I'm going to go kill everything and make things great. That's how I operate. But he was like, you got to open the nothing box sometimes, just for like an hour a day. Just open the nothing box and don't think about anything. And I thought that was kind of crazy. Now, almost every day, I light a cigar and I'll kind of sit with the dogs and look at the ocean. And if it's not always an hour. It might be 15 minutes, and then I'll start reading or whatever. But I always try to open that nothing box and really just kind of be present with, nothing, just existing. Like, wow, look at the leaves on that tree. Listen to those birds. This is amazing that I'm here. Like, it sounds like 16-year-old me probably thinks that 45-year-old me is like totally lame, but that is exactly what helps me the most.
Yeah, it seems like just learning to ground yourself and feeling what life is really about. I think that sometimes the bigger complexities can kind of get to us, but just kind of reminding yourself what life is truly about can definitely ground you.
Wise beyond your years.
Thank you.
So I will say that, one of the things that we have talked about a lot is, how to recognize, how to compartmentalize, how to handle what we've got going on. And one of the things that, I love that you guys talked about is going into how you handle things. So the last little bit that I want to go into is what is, in your own life, what you've had to deal with. What are some of the things, whether it's been finances, whether it's been, the struggle of work or family issues, what are some of the advice that you can give to anybody who is out there who is struggling right now? Because I guarantee you there are so many people right now that are struggling with I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet during Christmas. I don't know how I can be around family right now because of the work struggles that I've got to do, or I don't know how I can be with family because I'm so far away. We all have something else that we're dealing with when it comes to the Christmas holiday, time frame. What is some advice in your own personal experience that you can give to anybody out there on how to deal with whatever they may be going through?
Man, before you guys steal all the good ones, I'm jumping in. You guys always steal the good ones. I'm jumping in. Now I just want to say I'm kind of stealing John Aldi's here. You are never alone. I would pray that you're never alone, and if you are, I'm not hard to find on Instagram, on whatever. Like, honestly, reach out to somebody, talk to somebody, because finding those people that are in your circle, or make them in your circle, those people to talk to and actually communicate with and kind of bounce stuff off of, is so key to me. Yes, my main core group of friends and family are still back in Pennsylvania, but I've met a few really great people down here in Memphis that have kept me grounded, and especially with the TriStar Herf crew. I've met people that have kept me grounded and kept my head straight, and when I needed a place to vent, I had that place to vent. So I think just having those people that you can vent to and talk to and bounce stuff off of, especially this time of year when things can get a little tight and a little bit off from everything going on, find those people to talk to, and lean on those people a little bit, because I mean, if you're doing things right, they have you to lean on too. So
Yeah, I'd say remind yourself that you are not alone. Remind yourself that other people are most likely going through similar situations to you. We all experience a lot of the same things as we go through life. And I think that there is no better person to sort of talk things through with than somebody who can be objective in a situation that you have an emotional connection to. We tend to cloud our judgment and decision making when we're personally and emotionally connected to problems. And if you have somebody in your life, whether it be, a family member, a friend, somebody in your community, a therapist even, that person has a more objective perspective to give you because they're not emotionally connected to the problem. And they're going to be somebody that can probably give you a lot of good tools and solutions to what you might not have thought of yourself, because you have that emotional connection to whatever it is that you're going through.
I like that.
Oh, my mic was off. My bad. So
Oh,
I was gonna
sorry.
say, piggybacking off of that a little bit, like one of the main things that I've learned at the beginning when I started therapy that I use literally every day is this like zoom out method. And kind of when you're in your emotional brain, you're not in your logical brain. And so like kind of taking a step back, looking at the situation from a different perspective, and then also taking the time to like feel your emotions, kind of let them go through your head, but then also putting them aside and looking at things logically. Like it definitely will help you get through what you're going through. But I also agree with that you're not alone. I think that there's times where we definitely all can feel a little lonely too, but having, whether it's support from family and friends, or like I'm on a lot of Facebook support group pages for my chronic condition. I felt really alone with that for a while and didn't know how to find my community, but being able to find people even through like social media, as much as I hate it. I think there's a lot of toxicity on there. I think there is a lot of positivity as well that you can find in those resources. So I think knowing that there's other people out there too, no matter what it is, you'll always find someone that can kind of connect with you and relate with you as well.
To chime in here, I guess, and to piggyback a little bit off what you just said, for me, it's always about reframing the situations. Like when literally my whole family was going through these health crises that were permanent ultimately, and trying to accept that and deal with these things and all this hard stuff. Eventually I got to a point where I was able to reframe it, and I'm like, look, I had 20, 30 years even maybe of really good. And okay, so now I have 3, 4, 5 maybe a decade. I don't know. Maybe it's not over. Maybe I'm going to have a decade of real crap that I get to trudge through and rediscover myself and, do all these things and have to deal with. But I had a real good run before. And in order to have great things in life and appreciate great things, you got to have the crap, and you got to be willing to go through that crap. And when I come out on the other side, and maybe I have, and hopefully they have, I can appreciate the good moments even more. And reframing it into those terms instead of being like, oh God, it's like we're in year 2 and nobody's healthy and we're never going to figure it out. No, we'll get there. And I had a lot of good years. We're going to get to the good years still. But I owe it to the world, and the universe is telling me, look, this is what you need now. This is what you have to go through. So this is what we're going to do. And accepting that really goes a long way. So I guess the long and short of it is reframing your thoughts. Oh, I can't do this can be as easy as I can do this. Now, how am I going to figure it out? Simple things like that. That helps me a ton.
So we have a comment I want to jump on here before we go into the last bit of what we're going to do tonight. So Mashbill says on here, when my mom passed in January and a couple of weeks later I got laid off for 4 months, I would have completely lost it if it weren't for the cigar community and the whiskey community. And we were talking about the different communities to join into. But he goes on here and says, this is the first holiday season without my mom. It's been hard to be around family. It's going to be real hard the next few weeks. So going into you guys, leaning into Doc and Josh, but going into all of us. One of the biggest things that I've read in research is, some of the biggest things going into the holidays is finances, is the all the different things that it goes into about being, about being stressed for the holidays. The biggest part is feeling loss. Mashbill's talking about being on here, lost his mom. This is the first holiday season that I've lost my mom and dad in the same year. Actually lost mom, dad, and uncle in the first year. What are some of the ways that people can deal with the loss of somebody and trying to make it through the holidays? Is there any advice that you guys, all of us on here, that can give to anybody who is suffering? Their biggest weakness right now is they don't know how to get through the holidays because of the people that they've lost. Any advice?
Allow yourself to feel sad. Allow yourself to feel that grief. Allow yourself to ride that wave of it being the first holiday that you're not going to have your loved one with you. You have to allow yourself to feel those emotions to be able to get through them in a healthy way.
Yeah, I'm always an advocate of, when it comes to loss of friends or family, I'm always an advocate of, like, if we don't voice them, they don't have a voice anymore. So who's going to keep their memory alive? So if you can text somebody or talk to your family about the good and maybe bad memories with your mom or your dad or your best friend you lost or whatever, I think that's kind of the best way, because you're giving them life, especially if your nieces and nephews or friends or whomever are around. They start asking questions because they didn't know them, or definitely didn't maybe know them as well as you did. And that can really encourage more conversation, which is helpful for everybody.
I will say that I don't have I don't have much advice to give on how to deal with it. I do know that the best way that I have dealt with everything over the last year, 11 months, is one, I have delved deep into the cigar club that we are in. I make it a purpose that I don't hold back anything from them. I let them know what's going on, and I want them to know that when something's going on with them, they share it with us. There's been nights that we absolutely talk about nothing. We literally talked about college football for an entire night. It was great. I'm not a college football guy. It was great. But there's nights that we talk about what's going on, whether it's our kids graduating or whether it's people passing. But I found that I have built the culture of our club that we can talk about what we need to. So I delve deep into being able to do that. Second, again, I've already said it earlier in tonight's episode. Two people that I have listened to tremendously in the, I guess, YouTube realm, Lee Mack. It's one of those things where I take to heart. You wake up every morning and you're going to tell yourself it's going to be a good day. Because if you don't start the morning telling yourself it's going to be a good day, then it's probably not. So you got to at least tell yourself, today I'm going to have a good day. And two, I don't know how to say how thankful I am for Josh coming back with his daily words. That's something that I look forward to every day, because whether it pertains to me and what I'm going through or whether it's not, it's somebody out there that has the love for the community, not the cigar community, not a whiskey community, but the humanity community, that's putting out words of wisdom and inspirational stuff that can help you. If you just read it and you look at it and you live it, it makes you look at yourself and feel better. So I look at that. And last, I have, when the first hit was when my aunt died, and then my mom got put into hospice and she passed. I made myself get honest with my wife. Instead of, I will tell the world, again, I deal with the community, I deal with the kids. I am very much in my industry. It is 100%. I am Johnny Carson every day. I am out there. I'm telling jokes. I'm smiling. I am the epitome of being the happy guy on the floor. But I've realized that when my wife tells me or asks me, how are you? I cannot say I'm fine. I look at her and I say, do you really want to know? And the moment she says yes, I am 100% honest with everything that I'm saying. And she sits there and listens. Because I told her, I can't be fine anymore. If you want to know what's going on, all you have to do is ask. And the moment you ask, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I had to realize I had to have that person that I could tell the truth to. I could not just be fine anymore. So my only words of advice would be, find a group that you can talk to. It doesn't matter if it's counseling. It doesn't matter if it's a cigar club. It doesn't matter if it's your church group. Find somebody to talk to. And two, the people who are closest to you, you cannot be fine anymore. You have to be honest. Because when you're at your lowest of lows, when your mind is thinking about doing stuff that you should not do, if you're honest with the people who love you the most, they're going to be the people that pull you away from there. That's my only words of wisdom going through what I'm going through.
By telling the truth to the people that you love and care about, I think that helps them help you.
And you also are setting an example for other people in your life who may not be at that place yet.
100% agree.
I remember last time when we did this show, we talked about how, especially a lot of us that grew up with older parents and, you know, from that generation where we don't show that side of us, breaking that cycle. I know we talked about it before, you know, like for our kids and for the people, younger nieces, nephews, who are people in our circle, you know, I mean, that we can be in touch with that side of ourselves and be open with our feelings. And it's not something I was always good at. I mean, Kyle would be the first one to say it. I pushed a lot down for many years, and I think I've come a pretty good ways with it. But it's been something that I continuously have to work on, and I think we as men have to find that way to open up, whether it is somebody you're close with or a therapist or, you know, somebody in your life, family, whoever. And yeah, I think it's something that we can have to continue to strive for, is breaking that cycle.
Well, I'll jump in on that, and I'll try not to get emotional about it, but I'm a small guy. I'm only 5'6", right? And I have memories of holding on to giant men, crying their eyes out and just holding them. And the trust that, Charles, you talk about handing your wife, or what they gave to me in those moments, is immeasurable, truly, because it takes a lot to get there. It takes a lot of strength to let down whatever walls us as dudes tend to put up, especially guys that I look up to, that I got the privilege of being present in their weakest moments. And for somebody on the other side of that, what a crazy memory that I'll always carry, because it is a privilege. If for everyone who listens to you, Charles, in your HERF group, talk about your issues and concerns, I hope they look at it the same way, because they're in a place of trust and of privilege, truly, to be there for you in that way. And I don't think a lot of people talk about what it means to be a therapist, right? To hold that for people and have the strength also not to take that on yourself, and the mental awareness to not wear that in your everyday life. Like, that's insane. It's an insane ability, you know, to our EMTs and LE and veterans and, you know, nurses, RNs out there. Like, that applies on all those levels, but it applies at home too. And I think that should be highly applauded. And it just doesn't get acknowledged enough.
To that point, somebody had a comment earlier that really struck me. I'm trying to find it. In order to be exceptional, you must first be exceptional. But the way that it's worded or spelled just really hit me. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, Josephus has some great comments. I think we have a lot in common. We never really talked about it on the air here, but he is one of the funniest dudes. He's on here every week, and he's given us credit many times for kind of getting him out of a bad space in his head. And we just come on and be us and have fun, you know, and that's what we do. But for him, it's kind of his release point and whatever it seems. But I truly believe that his fun and joking around is kind of the same way that I joke around. And, you know, it's kind of that it covers up a little bit of something every once in a while. But Josephus, you know, we love you, man. And your comments are always exceptional, for real.
Okay, I was muted that time. So everything has been pretty heavy the last little bit. So we are going to lighten things up a little bit before we close things out. So Josh and Doc, you've been on here before where we've done what we call hotbox questions. And it's random questions that we ask just to get your thoughts, to have some fun, to lighten things up. But we usually ask 10 questions. If we ask 10 questions to all of you, holy crap, we're going to be on here forever. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick 3 questions. We're going to do round table for the 3 of you. Mick gets 3, I get 3. We're going to just kind of quick, have some fun with it, but it's whatever comes to mind the quickest. So I don't think I've ever asked this to 3 people at the same time. Are you guys ready to play Hotbox questions?
Si, senor.
Si, senor.
No better time than the present.
Yes.
Ready as I'll ever be.
There we go. So Hotbox questions are brought to you by Beard Apothecary.
Yep, that's what she said. Hey, ho. What's going on, everybody? Johnny from Beard Apothecary. Merry Christmas and ho, 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 mother. Ooh, sorry, my bad. It is, yep, it's a family show. Hey, I'm here with my trusty sidekick, Bruce, and we are bringing to you the first ever holiday scent drop from Beard Apothecary. The first one we're going to talk about tonight is called Elfed Up. Elfed Up is crisp apple and mandarin up top. It's a festive fir and cranberry in the middle and a sweet cedar sugar finish. Elfed Up is Christmas in a bottle. Our second offering is a little something we call Bad Santa. Bad Santa is berries and apples, bright in the front, but lavender, cedar, and musk reveal the truth. Bad Santa is holiday trouble in one killer scent. So I also want to take this time to thank everybody, especially Charles and Mick, for everything they've done for us to help us grow as a company and as a brand. And it's just, this community's been just nothing but fantastic. We really appreciate you guys. So it also, make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the fellas. Real Smoke is no joke. I just made that up. But hey, don't let the beard look weird. Merry Christmas.
That's probably the best ad that he's done. I like that one.
I love it. Festive and everything.
Mick.
Festive, John.
Don't let the beard look weird.
No,
So,
that's right.
Mick, you always have question number 1. Do you have question number 1 ready for our guest?
I sure do. And I'll be honest. I figured I'd throw some weird ones at you guys. I know Kylie watches the show a little bit, and so I figured I'd throw some weird shit at you guys tonight, just for the fun of
I've
it.
got some new ones as well.
All right. So this is the most random one I could find today, and I thought I'd go with it. In your opinion, how many chickens would it take to take down an elephant?
You broke up a little bit. What was that? Can you repeat, please?
How many chickens do you feel that it would take to take down an elephant?
Okay.
Easy
How many
one to start
chickens-
with. There's no wrong answer.
How many chickens fit on one of those depressing trucks that you see driving down the highway?
Oh, probably 10,000.
So
Yeah.
that is what I would say.
A truckload?
A truckload, yeah.
I'd definitely say a couple thousand. A little
Yeah,
army of chickens.
I like the
Alright.
truckload answer. Like, that's as cool as it gets. I can't come up with anything as cool as that.
All right, so question number 2. What is the one thing outside of your industry that you have done lately that really makes you happy or excited?
I guess for me, like I don't. A random side thing I kind of did was tattooing for a little bit. I've done that for about 5 years, and I started out with stick and poke. I just really enjoyed the history and the art kind of with it. And then I had got a tattoo gun and kind of started using that a little bit, but that's been pretty fun and just a fun little passion and hobby outside of what I normally do day to day.
I'm the lamest person ever. Like, I get the most joy from silence and words on a page. So reading is like the greatest time for me ever.
I recently dove into the world of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on Hulu. I don't know if you guys have heard of that show.
That's a crazy show.
It is the most crazy, ridiculous,
My wife will not stop watching that show. So,
hot
yeah,
mess of a show. Yeah. I find it fascinating from a psychological perspective. So I have unapologetically binged that show and dove into those people like never before.
What a fascinating approach because I never thought of it with somebody in your field. I don't know that I could watch literally anything ever again without completely analyzing why it's happening and what they're thinking. A blessing and a curse, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This is why I love having Doc as a friend, because some of the conversations we got into, she looks at everything from such a different perspective, and like we'll be having this random conversation about who knows what, like a bird that flew by or something, and she'll come up with some crazy reason why that bird was at that place at that point in time. I'm like, what the? How do you even think about shit like? But yeah, it's crazy. It's intriguing to me too.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse for sure.
but I also know we talked about this before. She's also, I think, using me as a test subject to analyze me, because I'm the most basic human in the world. I'm like, oh, that's cool. All right, whatever. Next thing. So yeah.
There's more layers to you. I just keep pulling back.
But why are you so nonchalant, sir? Like, there's got to be a reason. So let's,
he's like an onion.
Like,
there's layers.
There's so much.
There is layers. Yeah. I mean, I'm just
Shrek and Donkey said it best. He's like an onion. There's layers.
Ironically, I hate onion. So yeah, there is that. All right. So just because
Mick Shrek.
But sure. I'm starting to get, after the vacation week, I'm starting to look like Shrek. So, all right. So, just because I need this for the post-show promos, what is your favorite musical band or artist?
Impossible.
One song, one band. Give me somebody. It don't matter.
Mine's probably Billy Joel.
That is literally what I was about to say.
Seriously. One of the greatest.
I grew up listening. What'd you say?
One of the best storytellers in the world ever.
Who, Billy Joel? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So all three of you, Billy Joel. Cool.
Yes, I was just about to say I grew up listening to him. I've seen him in concert maybe 4 or 5 times now because my mom loves him. He is her favorite artist. And I have memories from childhood of cleaning the house, listening to Billy Joel CDs that we put into our computer and would play through the computer rather than through like a CD player.
Little side note, Kylie does some great karaoke to Billy Joel. So just saying.
Maybe a little bit.
I have to, like, the people talking about Slayer and the Allman Brothers, like Johnny Cash, like, these are my people. Billy Joel, like, because I like Martha and the Vandellas and Question Mark and the Mysterians and all that OG stuff. But then I always bring up Terror when music comes up, because I love Terror. I love Opeth. I love Mastodon. So, like, there's so much good stuff out there in every genre. It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
Who you will never hear me say is Taylor Swift. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Aldi.
We can all agree on that.
It's a cult.
Just wait. I'm just saying, just wait for the Cigar Army post that we're about to do here in a little bit. Just saying. All right, so next question. What is a childhood memory that you have that still makes you laugh to this day? Told you, trying to bring the vibe up a little bit.
If my brother ever watches this, he's probably going to laugh when I say this. I have a memory from when I have a brother who's 4 years younger than me. And I have a memory from when he was about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old, maybe, where he had just gotten out of the bath and he had the towel from the bath wrapped around the top of his head. And he ran screaming through our house, butt naked, screaming, "Mary, the Mother of God." And I will never forget him doing that. And I really hope he watches this so that he can hear me tell that story.
I really hope that it clips this so we can send it to you so you can send it to him.
Well, I guess I'll do a brother story as well. He was older than me and he sleptwalked a lot. And he made some wrong turns and ended up instead of the bathroom at the refrigerator. And the vegetable crisper drawer was open and he'd just gotten his pants below his butt there and was ready to take care of business. And thankfully, my father caught him just in time. So that's pretty damn hilarious.
I can just one funny bit. I still have my same childhood best friend as my best friend today, which I'm very blessed. But I remember me, her, and my sister were watching some just really silly video that we had found on YouTube. We finally had YouTube access on our little tablets or whatever. And we just sat there laughing so hard that I remember my mom came over and she's like, "We have work in the morning. You need to be quiet." But I don't know why that like was probably the hardest I've ever laughed in my entire life, and I can still think back to that day. It's a very fond memory.
That's great. I think I remember that day as well, to be honest with you. Yeah.
It was awesome. We still pull that video up and we laugh, and it's still hilarious. So it lives on.
All right, so I'm going to end with one too that this one might take a little bit of thought. So we'll see how this goes. What is the most socially unacceptable thing that makes you laugh but shouldn't? I thought this was a good one for tonight.
Dude, I don't know why. I think it's because I'm perpetually like 13 years old. And most dudes, I think, can join in on this. But there's nothing funnier than farts. Literally, there's nothing funnier. I don't care what anybody says. There is nothing. And no comedian,
Absolutely.
nobody lives up to farts. And if you have TikTok, you got to follow Farts in a Stairwell. Because it's just this janitor that farts in an echoey stairwell. And that's all it is. It is funny every goddamn time.
I love it. You are not wrong, sir. You are not wrong.
There's nothing like it's so socially unacceptable, but I don't care if you're a damn executive or you're a janitor or whatever. You laugh at farts. Period.
Absolutely.
So I will say this again, dealing with kids. So we get some young kids that come in there and they're so like terrified or scared to come out there and do something for the first time. So I'm sitting there on the floor with them and I'm talking to them, and they're borderline like crying, not wanting to try something. And I will look at them and say, I guarantee I can do something that'll make you laugh. Look at me and go like that. And I'll go, are you ready? I'll go 1, 2, 3. And as soon as I make that sound, they start rolling. And I look at their mom and go, everybody laughs at a fart sound.
It's true.
Oh my gosh, I keep being muted. But I was gonna say, honestly, the first thing that came to mind for me too was farts. I can definitely remember like being in high school when you're like taking a test or something, and it's super quiet, and someone just rips a fat one, and you're just like trying not to bust up laughing. It's the best. It's never gonna not be funny. And if you don't think it's funny, then you're too serious.
It's funny just to hear about.
Exactly.
The bad thing is, I'm thinking about being in class when I was in class, and you're describing it, and I'm laughing and got tears because I'm thinking about some kid in the background going, "Rah!"
Exactly.
Oh, I lost one of my earbuds. Hold on. These have been falling out of my ears the whole time. Most socially unacceptable things annoy me. So I feel like I have to go with the consensus of the other two and just say farts, because I get real irritated at most things that are socially unacceptable.
I don't know how I expected that question to go, but I guess I should have expected how that question would go.
I just think
Phenomenal.
of people who like have conversations on their phone on speakerphone when they're like in the middle of an airplane or something. Like that irritates me
That's
to
my
no
biggest
end.
pet peeve.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Is every 40 or 65, 70-year-old that walks around any public place talking to their phone like this and speakerphone. Or every 13-year-old girl that has to FaceTime in the middle of a public place. That kills me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
so last question. This one's a little deep, and Mick always says, leave it to me to get serious. Do you think happiness is something we chase or something we create?
I say create.
I agree.
Yep. Spot on, 100%. You got to choose it every day. It ain't there if you don't.
And everybody's definition of happiness is different. It's a subjective feeling. So it's something that you have to create for yourself. Nobody's going to create it for you.
Yep. I live in a
All
place
right,
where
so
people have
follow-up
nothing.
question. I'm going to go with Doc first. What is your ideal vision of happiness? You other guys know I'm coming to you next, so go ahead and start thinking. What do you got, Doc?
Just say Kyle.
Well, I mean, that is sort of what came to mind. I would say feeling content in my relationships with the people in my life and having the freedom to enjoy my life in the way that I choose.
Please tell Kyle I said hi, by the way.
I will.
I don't know Kyle, but tell him I said hi too.
I will.
Kai, what is your ideal version of happiness?
I definitely can agree with like being content or like trying to find the words that I want to say. I think the life, like every day you're choosing your happiness and you're creating that. But I think for me, like feeling like I'm living my most authentic life, feeling like I'm living a life that feels true to me. So like I have this vision in my head that I've had for years, and like I live a very happy life, I would say, but there's this portion that definitely hangs over me of my health. I know that's not going to get better. So aside from that, the things that I can control are like having a little farm one day where I can have a small house and a garden I can tend to, and just being able to like ground myself and like be around people that I love and care about, and just having things that feel happiness to me. Definitely, it's different for everybody, but that's kind of how I envision my life: being able to take care of myself, being surrounded by people I love, doing things that I love. That kind of seems like happiness to me.
Sounds like it. Josh, my man, what is your ideal version?
You know, it comes from two things, and that's gratitude and service. And every day I wake up and I put my feet on the ground and I am freaking stoked I get to live it again, and then I made it through yesterday. And that's truly enough for me. The gratitude in that is so huge. And the other part, the service part, the be kind part of our lives, really it's the most unselfish, selfish thing that we can do. And giving a smile to others or creating a smile for others. And I'm not a particularly religious person, but Jesus used to wash people's feet. As simple as that kind of act is, that metaphor for life is so huge. And that giving, that service, man, it can fill you right up. Those cards that you mentioned earlier that I hold up, man, like hearing that from you, that's my calling, that's my service. And it came back to me tonight from you. And that's huge. That's happiness to me, is those two things.
He's not expecting it. Hey, Mick, what is your ideal version of happiness?
Man, some of them are hard to follow up, but I also feel that being surrounded by people that you love and respect, and they respect you back, and you have that support group around you is huge to me. I mean, I feel like I've done a really good job building that most of my life, and I try to surround myself with positive people and people that will continue to keep me on the right path. I know that kind of sounds selfish, but hopefully I give that back to them as well. And also like a small 2-bedroom place on the beach would really make me fucking happy. But I just need to hit the lottery for that, probably, because beachfront property is freaking expensive. I've been looking this whole week. I've been down in Florida. But no, I honestly just, if I can wake up every day and still take care of myself and take care of my family and be there for someone I love, and hopefully they're there for me when I need them as well. That's really happiness to me, and I'm already living it, man. I mean, honestly, I've been blessed with great people in my life, and I wouldn't change much, honestly. Maybe that lottery thing, that'd be nice to be able to buy that property, but I wouldn't change much, man. I'm blessed. I mean, just doing this every week with you and getting to hang out with great people like we have on tonight, it's it's a blessing to me, man.
That's awesome. So for me, it would be 3 parts. One, my family I have here, realizing that I can be me with my wife and I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not. To be a bonus dad to 3 wonderful kids who know everything about me and they don't have to wonder who I am. They know me. Second part would be you all, the people that we have on here tonight, you guys, the people in our club, the people that we can sit with and talk about something like this and not be guarded and not be ashamed to talk about the things that normally people like us probably wouldn't talk about in public. And then last would be my business. We celebrated 20 years of being in business this year. And it's 20 years that I get to say that every day I go in and the motto of my business is we exist to inspire. We exist to inspire the kids of today to be the future that we build for tomorrow. That is my business's motto. And I get to go in every day and teach kids to be better humans. That's the 3 things in life that makes me the happiest. And I am extremely happy. And that's one of the things that I will say to everybody. When you're at your lowest, think about the things in your life that makes you the happiest. That's what makes me the happiest, and that's what's got me through the last few months. So we're closing out tonight. I'm going to give everybody the stage. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about mental health through the holidays. We're just talking about personal mental health. Leave everybody with one piece of advice that you would give to anybody. Doesn't matter how big or how small. But I'm going to go like this. Kai, leave everybody with some words of wisdom from your heart.
My one phrase that I say to everybody before I leave work, before I get off the phone, before anything, I usually say, take care. Like, it's short, but if you think about it, like, take care of yourself. Put yourself as a priority as well. Set your boundaries. Do that self-care. Ground yourself. And also know that you can lean on your support system. I think just acknowledging your needs and knowing how to express that to the people around you to get the help that you need, that's important. So definitely take care.
Doc, I'm going to go into you next.
I would say, I think I talked about this during our last episode on mental health, but try to find the balance in your life and listen to your gut. I think deep down, we all know what's right and what's wrong for us. And for a variety of reasons, we go a different direction sometimes. But ultimately, listen to your gut, follow your heart. That hopefully doesn't lead you astray.
Nice. Brother Josh, I'm going to talk about some of the cards that you put up. Think about some of the cards that you put up. Tell us one of the cards that you put up if you can remember them. Leave us with some words of advice. Or maybe this is your next card that you put up.
Man, there's 20 years of those cards for almost, with some breaks in there. So that's a tough one. But one that I know I've held up a few times, and I live by this every day, is, and I think about it constantly, and that's just live one life, but change many. And what that really means is just like all of y'all have been talking, make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure that when you leave somebody, you left them with the best experience they could have with you as possible. And I know that's not always possible, but if you can, leave them with something good. So then they pass that along. And that's really what it's about for me. When I die, won't have a tombstone, but if somebody wants to write in the sand, he did. He did that. He lived one life and changed many. That's all I could ever ask for. And for those out there seeking purpose, you don't have to seek it. We're all put here for one reason, and that's to take care of each other. And there's no better platform than right now to mention that. And that's what that really means is take care of each other.
100%.
So I will let Mick close things out with you guys. But one thing I will say is, Josh, on tomorrow's card or your next card, leave us with something that comes back from what we talked about tonight. Let your next card be kind of that inspiration for that next card, because I can't wait to see what you write next.
No pressure,
Mick,
right?
Yeah, no pressure. Mick, I will let you send our wonderful guest out for the evening. And before he does, thank you guys for being on here. I appreciate you. Love y'all. I hope that this is something that we do again next year, because even though we talk about a lot of the same things, it's something that people need to hear. And if they hear it for the third, fourth, fifth time, maybe it's that third or fourth or fifth time that they reach out and they find the help that they need. So thank you guys from my heart to your owls. Thank you so much for what you guys have brought to us tonight. Mick?
Man, you always make it so hard for me to close out after something like that. I'm going to go backwards around the room. I'm going to say the same thing. Josh, man, you inspire me every day, man. You're a great dude. I love your views on things, man. I love the way you go about it. You're just a wealth of knowledge, man, and just keep doing what the hell you're doing. Like it's awesome to watch, man.
Thank you.
Doc, you'll always be one of my closest work buddies, but man, we need to get back together. Well, next time I'm up, we need to hang out for a little bit, because I do miss you tremendously. I love how you'll throw a question back at me. And it makes me rethink everything I've thought for like ever. And it's amazing how you do that. And you're just so great. And thank you for doing this. Like, it's second time around, you're taking your time out of your day I know you got enough stress in your life to deal with, but with what you do for a living, and it's awesome to have you be a part of this. And I can't thank you enough for that. And Kai, I think Josh said it earlier. You're wise beyond your years. You make me proud to be your dad, and you're just an amazing kid that's blossomed into this an amazing adult. I don't know how time flies by. It actually kind of hit me when you turned 26 this year. I'm like, fuck, she's on her way to 30. Like, how old does that make me? Jesus mighty.
I'm excited though. I feel like what you guys have taught me though over the years is with age, I'll just get hopefully more knowledgeable and wiser. So I look forward to it.
There's not many 26-year-olds that have as much knowledge and life experience as you have, and I'm proud of who you've become, and just amazing to have you be part of tonight and part of this journey of what we're trying to promote on this show. And man, just thanks to all you guys. It was a hell of a show. And one last thing, thank all of you for changing the date, since I'm an idiot and scheduled my flight home on a Thursday. So thank all of you for making that work, because I did not want to miss this. I mean, I would if I had to, but I got to thank all four of you for that, because I can't believe I did that. I don't know. I screwed that one up, but thank you for making that work. And I'm so proud to be a part of this, and hopefully it touches a few lives. And thanks for everything you guys do.
So with that, I will say thank you so much for jumping on here. We'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll finish up our show. If you guys want to watch, you're more than welcome to, but thank you so much. Doc, thank you for jumping on here. We look forward to doing it again. Josh, love you, brother. Hope we can do this again. And Kai, thank you for everything you have done for us. Keep doing everything that you're doing for us. We appreciate it. And we will see you three hopefully really soon. Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Thank you for having me on.
Yep,
Thank you.
pleasure.
See you guys. And just like that,
Man.
episode 56 is in the books. And I will say that holy jeepers.
Yeah. That one hit home a little bit, man. It was awesome. And everybody played an amazing part. It was just unbelievable.
I love the show. But do you want to know what my favorite part is?
What's your favorite part?
I love watching you and Kai talk. I mean, you can tell that, you're not at home, and just the fact, you two going back and forth, bro.
Yeah, I miss that kid.
I'm
I miss
looking at
both my
your
kids.
eyes right now. You're not
Yeah, I miss
drunk,
that kid.
but I see the eyes.
Yeah, I'm not. I only had one drink tonight, but no, I definitely miss her. I miss both my kids tremendously. But yeah, it's crazy watching your kids turn into good adults. I mean, it's I look back and there's things I'd change as a parent. I think we all would, but I think overall I can be proud of the kids I've raised. And having her be a part of something like this and really be vulnerable and open and really contributing to the show. It was tremendous, man. It was a great night.
She's grown up, bud.
Okay.
Yeah. So, guys, we do have a couple of other spots on here. We do have some prizes to give away. Tonight, we are doing 2 gift cards from Cigar Vault for $25. It is the beginning of December, so everybody is up to win. We do have some Meanwhile in not Memphis. We have a brand new song for that one coming out. Some Meanwhile in Florida. And that's about it. So we're going to close. And we do have a cigar review to do. So that is coming up next. And that one is a new little piece for Cigar Army. So, John, if you're on here, Robert, if you're on here, I'm sorry. This one was written by one of our brothers at Cigar Army. I'm not saying Frank, but it was written by Frank. So he does throw a few little shots at you. Just saying. But we do have a cigar review to do. I'm kind of embarrassed to do this review because I'll talk about it in a minute. Anyways,
right.
So cigar review tonight is brought to you by Cigar Army.
The Cigar Army is a much tamer cigar group than others. We aren't John Aldi from Beard Apothecary, taking you into their headquarters of their beard products with Taylor Swift pictures on the walls. Or Robert aka Fred Durst of 30 Knives, forging knives, cutters, and Christmas ornaments all night long. At the Cigar Army, we are a small group with a mission to give back. Our Toys for Tots fundraiser is our current give back, where we look to help the kids. Buy some raffles tickets, win some prizes, and help us raise money for the Marines' Toys for Tots. Here at the Real Smoke podcast, we support each other. Whether it's for the beard, for the metal forger, or for just giving back, come support Operation Give Back. Support the Cigar Army.
Just saying.
I love it.
I absolutely love that one. So at the very end, it shows a Cigar Army logo that's not theirs. I'm recreating that logo and going to send it to them and just ask them to create to do a shirt or something because it looks fantastic.
It does. Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah, it's great.
Anyways,
making fun of Aldi a little bit. It's a good time.
I believe this is the last week to get your raffle tickets in. They are doing a drawing this weekend, I believe they said. So check out this right here. Go check out Cigar Army. They have 2 for $20, 4 for $30, or 6 for $50. It's cigar accessories and swag. Go check them out. And
I believe they're all still. Are they still $5 a piece right now? I think they're all on sale. I still think that might be. I think they're still all on sale. So until the day of the event, I believe they're still $5 because I just reposted one today that said that. So
sweet.
Yeah, or buy a shirt. Either way, we'll make sure they get the money.
Yeah, go ahead and check out our shirts. By the way, if you haven't checked out the shirts, it is over here by the handsome man himself. So go check out that shirt. Go buy go check out the link in our bio. Go buy the shirt. $5 is given to Cigar Army. I can't talk tonight, so check out that shirt right there. So, Mickey Mouse, do you have your review to do?
Yeah, I was kind of all over the place with this one because I'm out of my element. I made copies of our sheets, and it's kind of a mess. All right, so I will say it definitely smoked a little better than the first one that we had at the Middle Tennessee Herf. Wasn't a lot of transitions. It wasn't quite as strong as I typically like. It did not have many transitions throughout. So but it definitely was a little better than I expected, but the score is close to what I expected. Aroma from the body, I got light barnyard baking spices. Aroma from the foot, I got hay, barnyard, a touch of nutmeg and leather. Taste from the cold draw, I got leather, light earth, and baking spices. And pretty much through all thirds, I didn't really have a whole lot of transitions. I got leather, baking spices. It was definitely creamy smoke, chewy smoke. There's a touch of cocoa in there at times, and hickory. The retro was creamy, a touch of spice, and a little bit of barbecue, like that hickory still shined through in the back end. Appearance, I gave it 9 out of 10. Rum and cold draw, I gave 9 out of 10. Flavor enjoyment, 4s across the board. I thought it was good. I didn't blow me away, but it was solid. Smoking construction characteristics, I gave construction 9, draw 9, burn 9. The ash held phenomenally. It burnt very well. The draw was great, so that was definitely a plus side. Smoke production, final thoughts. I'd say it was a good overall experience. I gave it a 17 out of 20, and I definitely added to my rotation. I gave it an 8 out of 10. My total score is an 88. And just on the backside of that, it kind of reaffirmed I am now smoking the Cavalier Visa Jalapa, which I know is also one of your favorites that you got me hooked on about a year and a half ago. I've always said this one's at least easily a 92, 93. I stand by that. It was definitely a better cigar than I smoked earlier, but the TriStar cigar, it blew me away on the construction, the smoke. It'd be a perfect coffee cigar, midday cigar. It was good. It was solid.
So I'm going to have to say this. When given a cigar the first time, all the officers got the cigar. We tried it. It was a cigar that I was the only one that said that I did not like the cigar. Everybody else gave it a thumbs up. I gave it a thumbs down, said it needed more work. So as a group, it is majority wins. So going into it and then trying it when it came out, I was like, it still needs more work. Even today, I think it needs a little work to it, but I was not impressed with it. So that's been about 2 months, month and a half. I put it in my humidor. I let them all sit. And I smoked one about a month ago, and I even said on a Herf, I said, it's changed a little. I don't know what's changed, but it's changed a little. So a month later, I tried it again, and I will say I will have to eat a little bit of crow. So a cigar that I was not a fan of, I'm slightly a fan of right now. Just saying. So that being said, aroma off the body, slightly musty tobacco. Aroma off the foot, tobacco hay, woody. Taste off the cold draw, tobacco sweetness, woody. First third notes. On the light, black pepper, woody, earthy. The retro is a strong black pepper, earth. Into the first third notes up front are earth, mineral, woody, with a slight creamy tart note. Got that from the first one. The first time I tried it, that tart note, I said it was like a sour cream note, and it lasted the entire cigar, and that's what made me not a fan. We'll say it did not last the entire cigar. It was the first third. So the retro is black pepper, mineral, wood. Draw is good. Burn is razor sharp. I even sent pictures as I was doing the review on this one to the TriStar Herf, and the ash. One of the pictures I showed was well into the second third, going into the final third. Ash was still holding. Burn was razor sharp. Construction freaking phenomenal. But razor sharp. Ash is thick and tight. Smoke is thick and brings out lots of flavor. But the smoke was slightly drying. One of the things I don't like about a cigar is when I feel that I need to have something to drink afterwards. The finish is long, leaves a salty note on the palate. Strength is about a medium. Mick was never somebody who liked a minerally salty cigar. I am somebody who loves a minerally salty cigar. So starting off, pretty good. Into the second, third notes up front are earth, salty, slight sweet, bready note, followed by a little black pepper. The retro is earth, oak, white pepper, and a salted cracker. Draw is still good. Fantastic burn. Ash is tight and held from the first third all the way until now. Smoke is still full and slightly drying. Finish is long, slight salty and spicy note with a sweet undertone on the finish. Strength is about a medium plus. Into the final third, notes up front are earthy mineral, black coffee, a little bit of toast. The retro is black pepper, coffee, and toast. Draw is still good. Burn is flawless. Ash is tight. Smoke is still full but drying. Finish is still long, full, medium plus in strength. Pre-light experiences, I give it a 18 out of 20. Flavor enjoyment, I give it a 13 out of 15. Construction, I give it a 10 out of 10. There was nothing I could say construction-wise about this cigar. It is one of the best well-burning and construction cigars I've smoked this year. I'm not saying it because it was a cigar for our club. I'm saying it because this was a cigar, to be nice, I shit on for the last 3 or 4 months. The draw could have been a little bit tighter. It was a little open. Draw 9 out of 10. Burn 10 out of 10. Smoke production and final thoughts, I gave it a 31 out of 35. So for a cigar that I did not enjoy after a couple of months of sitting in a humidor, I give the Tres Estrellas a 90 out of 100. Mick gives it an 88. I give it a 90. Takes it to a straight 90 or 89. Real Smoke Podcast gives the Tres Estrellas by TriStar Herf Crew and FCT Cavalier an 89 out of 100. I will eat the crow that I deserve to eat, because as somebody who did not enjoy the cigar, as a lot of cigars that you don't like, let them sit and rest. Let them get a little bit of time, let them marinate, let them get to love each other. I'm in talks with the factory now about doing our second version. I'm not sure I'm going to change anything. I may leave it for another run. I think with a little bit more age, this cigar is going to be even more fantastic.
Yeah, I think it was solid, man. It's definitely better than what I thought we smoked in Murfreesboro that day. And it was our first cigar of the day. At least it was my first cigar of the day. And when we were in Murfreesboro, and I would have said it was mid 80s for sure. Now we're getting closer to 90. And that's with what, 3 months age? I mean, you add a little bit more age onto that. Who knows where we'll be? I mean, it could creep into the 90s pretty easily. So, I mean,
I think it
was
needed
solid
to sit and marinate a little bit. So
Absolutely.
We talked about some of the shops right now. There was 100 boxes of 20 made. So we have 100 boxes of 20 made. As of right now, we have 46 boxes left. We have 3 cigar shops in the state of Tennessee that's currently carrying them, and they're all in Middle Tennessee. So if you're interested, give a call to the Humidor in Murfreesboro, Bellmead Cigars, I think that's in Franklin, Nashville area, or Franklin Cigars. All 3 of those are carrying those. All 3 are willing to ship to you. If you want the best one, go to the Humidor in Murfreesboro. I 100% know that Jordan will take care of you. Again, for any of our listeners out there, all you got to do is look up the Humidor Murfreesboro, and then ask them if they can send you the cigar. Again, there are 46 boxes left. I know the Humidor has a couple. So the factory told me they had 46 boxes left that have not been shipped out. So go check it out. I mean, on mine, would I buy a box? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buy another box. I bought a half a box this last time. I'll go ahead and buy a box. Yeah. So great job, FCT.
Yeah, there isn't much that comes out of that factory that we don't enjoy at some level. And I truly believe that thing's going to end up being a banger. I will probably also buy a box when it comes down to it. Not only has our club logo on it, man, which means the world, It's definitely a good cigar, and it's trending in the right direction for sure.
100%. So we do have some prizes to give away. We have 2 gift cards from Cigar Vault. Almost said it. From Cigar Vault to give away. And our prizes tonight are brought to you by Brooders.
Listen up, Perf heads. Is if your cutter feels like a toy and your gear's got no soul, it's time to level up. Brooders Cigar Accessories. 100% American made. Veteran owned, built like a tank, passed down like a rifle. This ain't mass-produced junk. It's the heirloom collection. Precision built with grade 5 titanium, magnet steel blades, magnetic action, and inlays so clean they'll make your humidor blush. Check out the Heirloom Ambassador, a semi-custom raw titanium anodized finished cutter with exotic woods like Purple Heart and Bolivian rosewood. Or the Heirloom Elite, a fully customizable cutter with Cerakote, abalone, two-tone layouts, every detail dialed in. Each piece is serialized, built with pride, made to outlive you. So if you're tired of plastic cutters and flimsy lighters, go check out Brooders. Hit their website. Get something that matches your smoke game. Brooders, where legacy meets grit.
Thank you, Brooders, for jumping on and being a sponsor. We absolutely love everything you're doing for us. But before we go into the prizes, a couple of comments really quickly. I wish I had a flavor palette like that. Most cigars I taste the same. Any hints on tasting? He's talking about your awesome flavor palette, Mick. So do you have any hints on tasting cigars?
I know you're kind of fucking with me, but I'm going to say
Nope,
my
not at all.
palate my palate has gotten a lot better. Tonight I was a little off because I think I smoked so many damn cigars this week, and I was kind of hacking all night. I think I have the vacation ending sickness coming on, but honestly, I don't know if whoever asked that. Until I started really retroing the cigar, you can't really pull out any different flavor profiles. And something that really helped me when I first started trying to figure out flavor profiles, because I'm trying to keep up with that guy over there. His flavor profile is one of the best in the business. So for a palette, I printed off a flavor wheel. And as I'm retroing, I'm like, oh yeah, a palette's subjective. It's what it reminds you of. It's what it reminds your personal palate of. And for me, printing off that flavor wheel and kind of starting to get different flavor profiles in my head, and for me, it kind of breaks it down to, all right, this one's more earthy, this one's more chocolatey, this one's more leathery, this one has more baking spices, this one has some bread to it. Bread's a note that first stuck out to me when we were doing the Matilde review. That I got so many bready notes off that, and as it progressed, I got toast notes off of it, and I'm like, holy shit, I think I'm starting to get a palate here. And it's still not anywhere near what Charles's is, but I mean, honestly, starting from something like that, where that first time you start picking out those flavor notes and really honing in on them, the next cigar you smoke, you're like, oh, this one isn't bready. What is it? I mean, and it definitely starts thinking. You got to actually start off with a fresh palate though when you're doing it, because I know that's something I wasn't good at either. I'd eat something before I'd have a cigar or whatever, and then my palate would not be as good. So I mean, just little things to think about.
So, what he was saying, where you go into bready. So then you got to ask yourself, is it wheat? Is it rye? Is it a muffin? Is it a grain? Is it chocolate? Well, is it milk chocolate? Is it baker's chocolate? Is it dark chocolate?
Dark chocolate, yeah.
It's woody. Is it oak? Is it charred oak? Is it cedar? It's nutty. Is it a little dry and sweet like an almond? Is it bitter like a walnut? So my 3 things when I tell anybody when they start talking about I want to learn how to taste cigars, and I have 3 rules. 1, learn to retro. The most flavors that you're going to get is going to be through your sinuses. It's going to be through your nose. Learn to retro. 2, if you want to taste a cigar, make sure your palate's clean. Don't do it after drinking a lot of whiskey. Don't do it after a harsh meal. Don't do it after drinking coffee all day. Do it on a clean palate. And 3, learn to eat. Everybody knows how to eat. But when you eat, do you sit there and think about the spices that's in the food? Do you smell the spices in the food? Do you smell the food? Learn how to eat, because a lot of the flavors that you're going to pick up is going to remind you of what you have eaten. So learn to retro, clean palate, learn to eat. That's the advice I would give you with tasting cigars.
Perfect.
I want that cutter so bad. Hey, they'll sell it to you.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Get one made.
Practicing my retro, still struggling. Josephus, you always give something for us to look forward to. Yes. What did Josephus say? He says, you guys did it again. You gave me a little hope and something to look forward to. Thanks. All right. So, Mick, you want to go ahead and give them the new rules for the prizes while I go ahead and get the prizes and the wheel set up.
Sure, I'd love to. So it's a new month, so everybody's eligible. If you win this week, you will not be eligible next week for the same prizes from the same vendor. So if you win from Cigar Vault tonight, you cannot win from Cigar Vault next week. Also, we are going with the 5th winner. I don't know how to explain this. The 5th winner will be our winner. We're going to spin the
wheel 5 times.
There you go.
Because the algorithm that we have found out from all the other podcasts that's doing it, and we're all jumping in at the same time, that there's a bug in the algorithm, and to bypass that bug, we're going to spin the wheel 5 times. The 5th winner will be our winner. Yes. So if you're a number 4, don't get mad. Number 3, don't get mad. Number 2, don't get mad. Whatever.
Your name's still in there, but
your name is still in there.
The 5th person will be our winner.
All right, so let's do this one. This is for the first card for Bearded Apothecary. By the way, you have to be in here live to win this one. And if you do see your name, you have 30 Mick seconds to put your name in. So make sure you have typed in hashtag RealSmoke in the comments, whether you are on any of the platforms. So here we go.
And contrary to Charles just saying Bearded Apothecary, this is for a Cigar Vault Oakdale.
Oh, Cigar Vault Oakdale. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Just clarification.
Shut it. And the winner is...
Sorry,
Rob. You're on here again. Really? Okay, cool. So that's for the first one. Let's spit it again. Here we go. Number 2. Number 3. Sorry, Stanley. There we go. Number 3.
A lot of new names in there.
Yep. Mike. Sorry, Mike. Number 4. Mash Bill's number 4. And number 5, this is going to be your winner. Who is this one going to be? It's going to be...
All right.
Guns and Water. Guns and Water, are you on here? Make sure that you put in here that you are on here. Get your ends up, says he's here, but guess what? He's not here right now because, you know what? We got to spend 5 times. Guns and Water, are you on here, or do we need to spend a 6th time? You have 30 Mick seconds to let us know that you're on here. Mick.
I will say I like Guns and Water. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Is it like Guns and...
What kind of water do you like?
I like being near water, man. I like Liquid Death for sure. But I like being by... I like being by a pool, by the ocean, by a lake, by a river.
My name isn't showing up. It's in there. We've already been guaranteed. So Guns and Water. Mick, how much time does Guns and Water have left?
Another 10 seconds. I would say 10 seconds. Man, they bailed before the prizes? That's crazy. I'm glad I didn't write it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spin it again.
All right. So going in here, going to go type in hashtag real. Uh-oh. Here we go.
Yeah, for anyone new
All
joining
right.
us, we did inquire with StreamYard, and if you typed in hashtag, your name is absolutely in there, even if you don't see it. So we went down this road a few
Yes.
times.
Yeah, we've already been here, done that. So this is going to be number 6. Wait, Guns and Water. He says, wow. Do we count that one? It was before the
It
spin
didn't
was
finish
over.
spinning. It didn't finish spinning yet.
We'll give it to him. It's a new name.
All right.
Guns and Water. So Guns and Water. You literally got in the last second.
By a
Holy
hair.
frig.
By a hair.
By one of those sea hairs.
Yes.
Guns and
yes.
Water. What I need you to do is this. I need you to send Mick on the podcast page. If you don't know what the podcast page, really,
You should. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Send me,
he said he was here before you got the countdown done. Yep. So send him your mailing name, address, phone number, and email address. We need all 4 of those things. And then Cigar Vault will send you an email with your gift card. So
yes.
Guns and Water, send Mick a message on the podcast page, Real Smoke Pod. Go do that on Instagram.
RealSmoke_pod. I will get that sent to Cigar Vault either tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. And you should get an email confirmation, and then it will be applied at checkout. $25 gift card.
So I'm going to write down Guns and Water. All right. So, wait. He says you blocked me. No, dude, we just told you you freaking won and just gave you the information to go ahead and do that. So, go do the stuff that we just told you to go do.
You're good.
Nobody blocked you. All right. So, one more to give away. So, it is going to be 5 more spins. Let's go ahead and pull up the screen once again. Here we go. Spin number 1. Sorry, Sicilian. Spin number 2. Sorry, Mike. Spin number 3.
Mike keeps popping up. That's a new name too,
Yeah,
I
he
think.
does. Sorry, Robert. Spin number 4. And sorry, Mark. Spin number
Sorry,
5.
Mark.
So who's going to win this one? We shall see. Sorry,
Okay.
Guns and Water. You can't win 2 times in a row. Sorry about that one.
Spin
Here
number
we go
6.
again. Spin number 6. Who's this one going to be?
What's the chances of him being our 5th push? Like, it's so weird.
Get you.
And there he is.
And there he is. Get you ends up. You have 7 seconds to say something. Oh, crap. That was fast.
That's holy. That was typed up, I think.
That was ready to go.
Congratulations, man. That's 6 spin. Produced a winner. There it is.
He says he's here, but he wants to give it to somebody else. You think that's true?
I doubt that's true. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah. All right. So, Guns and Water and Get You Ends Up. Go ahead and send Mick your information on the podcast page. Yes,
Congrats.
You've already won before. Still send the information because we get rid of all that information. We need your mailing name, address, phone number, and email address. You have 24 hours to get that to us, or your message self-destructs.
Sounds like some Murdoch stuff there.
All right, so the last segment that we have to get into When I was playing, could you hear the drums beating?
I heard nothing, but I also realized on my phone I have to hit for sound on each individual segment for some reason. But at least it hasn't kicked me out, so I'm never doing this again. But I'm excited.
So
for this.
I will say that we have a new song for Meanwhile in Florida, which I guess Mick will not be able to hear.
I think I will. Yeah.
So our next one that we have to get into is some Meanwhile in Mickvis. I mean, we should do it. We should name it Mickvis just because he's everywhere. But that one is brought to you by Haze Gray Cigars.
Some carry their story in their hands. Others roll it into every leaf. Born from service, forged in loyalty, built on brotherhood. This isn't just another cigar. This is Haze Gray veteran-owned, battle-tested, crafted to honor those who served. And the bonds that never break. From the flight deck to your lounge. Haze Gray Cigars brings the experience to you. Strength, camaraderie, tradition. Haze Gray Cigars, we got your sticks.
A carnival of chaos by the sea. Meanwhile in Florida.
Nothing.
It's spinning.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Your song's not going to play. It doesn't like you.
Man, I was excited for that. I'm waiting patiently.
My bad.
Oh,
no. Maybe.
Grandma on a scooter chasing a freight train. Myth lab in a swamp shack lit up like a star. Mick just mutters, man, what hell's my car? Meanwhile in Florida, the wild runs free. A carnival of chaos by the sea. Meanwhile in Florida, it's a freak parade. Mick's just here watching the escapade.
You didn't hear any of that?
Nope, I'm gonna have to listen to it back, I guess. Son of a bitch. Why can't I hear it? That's terrible.
I mean, it was a good.
You could be messing with me right now. I'll listen to it back. I'm sorry, man. I know you put some
chasing a freight train. Myth lab in a swamp shack lit up like a star. Mick just mutters, man, what hell's my car? Meanwhile in Florida, the wild runs free. A carnival of chaos by the sea. Meanwhile in Florida, it's a freak parade. Mick's just here watching the escapade.
It's a good song. I mean, post in the comments if you like the song. I mean,
you could be messing with me right now. I don't think you are, but
Mark says I can hear it in New Zealand.
So stupid.
Mike says I heard the music. Thanks for the show, guys.
Don't go anywhere, Big Al. Meanwhile in Florida's coming up, I think.
So Guns of Water says, what email address should I send it to? You actually go on Instagram and go to you go to the podcast channel, RealSmoke_pod, and send a message. If you don't have Instagram,
we'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out. Go to Facebook, look up Real Smoke Podcast. Join the group
Twitter,
on there, send it to me, and
TikTok.
I'll get it to you as well.
Yeah. We're all over the place. All right, are we ready for question number one? I don't know since I didn't have any music to go. And ironically, I don't know if you guys can hear the sirens in the background, so that's kind of cool. It makes me feel like home. So, you ready for this? Story number one.
I am.
Florida woman blames a windy day for cocaine found in her purse.
That's what I usually blame it on.
Florida woman gets pulled over for a traffic violation. A distinct smell of marijuana came from the vehicle, and upon further search, they found a good quantity of marijuana and cocaine in the woman's purse. She admitted openly to the marijuana, but she claims it's a windy day and the cocaine must have blown into her purse. The cocaine is definitely not mine. The marijuana is, but the cocaine is not. The wind definitely blew it in there.
I hate when the wind does that to me.
It blew it right in her window, right into her purse. A good amount.
You're just driving through Florida and the wind comes through, and I mean, that's why you keep your windows up in Florida.
That's right. That's right. You never know what's going to blow into your window. All right, so this is a great one. This actually just happened while we were down here, like literally maybe a mile from where we're at. Florida man arrested for pooping on a possum in public.
That makes me want to play the Meanwhile in New Zealand song.
A Florida man was arrested for pooping on a dead possum on a Clearwater street during rush hour traffic. After being detained and read his rights, the 45-year-old man told officers he doesn't see real straight at times and he thought he was in his bathroom. He was charged with a misdemeanor for exposure of sexual organs and booked into Pinellas County Jail.
I'm sorry, officer. I thought I was in the shitter, but I was in the middle of the road pooping on a possum.
They actually tested his eyesight to see if he did have some vision problems. But like, if you're in the middle of a street shitting on a dead possum, you're probably not in your house.
The new T-shirt needs to be an old dude pooping on a possum. This is Meanwhile in Florida.
That would be a good one, probably. Yeah, I don't know if anybody buy it, but
I'm working on it now.
All right, number 3. I think I saved the best for last. A Florida man and woman.
How could it get better than pooping on a possum?
I debated which one was number 2 and number 3. But
I would think that you would like Meanwhile in Kentucky.
A Florida man and woman. Maybe Alabama. Yeah, that's true. A Florida man and woman arrested for fully nude romp on side of a busy highway. This also happened while we were down here. I didn't see it personally, but what is being described as a fully nude sexcapade along the Dunedin Causeway this past week. Several people called 911 and stated that 2 people were fully naked going to town along a busy highway. Unfortunately, school buses also take this route. Yeah. When police arrived, the male was laying on his back, completely naked, with his penis fully exposed. The woman made a statement during the arrest after she was read her rights and said she can check this one off the bucket list. And this was always a dream of hers near a busy highway. Police also found drugs on the woman, which added felony narcotics to the charges.
No, but there was drugs involved?
Hard to believe. Hard to believe. But hard to believe. But now they just went to town along a busy highway, and yeah, it sounds like it was a hard time. I don't know.
I know you can't hear this, but you know what was going on, right?
I don't, but yeah.
Spit on that thing.
Just played the sound that you know what was being played. So.
Oh, yep, I do know that sound. I still can't hear it, but yeah. But yeah, that was a lot of the sexcapades going on. I do feel bad that kids on a bus had to witness that, but it's kind of crazy. They're just wide open beside their Jeep.
In Florida, that's called education. So they're going through there and go, all right, kids, this is your education. If you look over to your left, it's a dude pooping on a possum, and that's how you use the bathroom over her. And then if you look over to your right, there is Uncle Johnny being straddled by Memo, and she's going to town and she's looking for a little hot tour and spit on that thing.
Only in Florida, man. I do feel like these are the stories I missed from when Memphis was going full bore when I first moved down there. So yeah, stories were easy to come by this week. No pun intended.
Oh, yes, they were. They were very much. So in that note, I will say you can not listen to the music, but
Speedo fighting a hurricane, grandma on a scooter chasing a freight train, meth lab in a swamp shack lit up like a star. Mick just mutters, man, what hell's my car? Meanwhile in Florida, the wild runs free, a carnival of chaos.
Am I good?
You really need to go back and listen to that song because I
I
made
will.
it just for you.
I know, and I'm irritated. I don't know. I'm never not traveling with my gear again, or we're pushing it back a week. One of the two. But man,
All right,
what a great show, brother! What a great show.
It was. So last few comments on here. Okay, Facebook I have. Okay, cool. Facebook. That works.
Awesome.
I'm not going anywhere, says Big Al. Josie says poop scootin' boogie. That needs to be the next song. Mark says, man, I love America. It's like driving through LSU campus with your windows down. I love it. Enjoy your Lane Kiffin. Just saying. Can't top that one. Shit on a live one. Take a poop on a live possum. See what happens.
Yeah, they have teeth.
Did he wipe the possum?
I don't know what he wiped with. Probably nothing. The guy looked like he was pretty strung out from the pictures I saw.
All right. So Guns of Water says, okay, did the Facebook thing. Thank you so much, guys. All right. I'll go check that one probably tomorrow. I'm not going to do it tonight. Just saying, it's too freaking late.
Yeah.
So how close to the villages are you?
I don't even know where the villages are. I'm in St. Petersburg currently. I fly out tomorrow to come back to Memphis. So yeah, I'm in St. Petersburg, Tampa area.
All right. So Mick comes back tomorrow.
Yep.
And next week we do have a podcast with the lovely people of who we got?
Drifting Drams. We're doing a coffee episode next week. First time ever. We're doing a coffee episode. Do some coffee pairings. It's gonna be great.
I'm gonna be drinking that cigar blend that they got out.
Ooh. Yeah, you got your sample packs?
I got my sample pack. Oh yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah, I saved the cigar blend for the show as well. The churro one is unbelievable.
Really?
Oh yeah,
man.
It's really good.
I may have to try that one this weekend then. So I will save the coffee blend for this weekend, but I may try the churro one or the coffee blend or cigar blend for the podcast, churro blend for this weekend. So
good.
Huge thanks to everybody who jumped on tonight. Absolutely appreciated it. We did dive deep into some mental health, and we ended it with a lot of, levity. Gotta bring it up a little bit. So
balance
thanks
is what we do.
Gotta give a huge shout out to the doc for jumping on here. Huge shout out to Josh on here, and huge shout out to Kai for jumping on here. Love all of you. Mick, I guess I will let you do what you do best.
Yeah, thanks to all three of those as well. I know we said it before, but we couldn't have brought this show together like we did without their help and everything leading up to it. Just that open forum that you guys contributed to and really, gave us all some knowledge and hopefully a little something to get us through the holidays. So I appreciate all three of those guys and you, Charles. Thanks for helping me get this show back on for Wednesday instead of Thursday, since I fudged up and scheduled my flight for Thursday. But man, I didn't want to miss this one. It was special to me. I know we all have our own individual things we work through for the holidays, and it's not always easy. So just having a support group that we have with TriStar and with just the great people we have around us, it means the world to me. And I personally want to thank you for a lot of that, man. So, but
bro, I appreciate it.
As I always say, man, take time this week and smoke a great cigar with someone you love, and tune in next Thursday. We're back to Thursday next week because I didn't screw that one up. So thanks, guys.
Be careful coming home. Enjoy your last few hours of vacation. Tell Kenda much love, and be safe coming home. We'll let us know when you get in safe. Everybody wish Mick a safe trip. And guys, we will see you next week with another great episode. Peace.
The smoke is thick, the air is tight, cigars are lit, oh what a sight. Pour the whiskey, tequila too, this one's for Mick and Charles and you. Thank you for tuning in. The Real Smoke Podcast makes us so grin.